Hello, hello. Right, yeah, sorry. So I wasn't planning on doing a stream on Makerfield, just because it's one by-election, and of course, is that enough to get by on for a stream? But man, I am talking to myself there. I am unable to sleep because some interesting stuff has come out already, and it's not that I don't think we're going to win, right? So I agree with Will here, right? Will's excellent. Will, by the way, Will Coleshill has been on the ground for Vox Populi Media, and they've been doing a great job of doing on the ground reporting. Really, really good. And that's how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling. I think we're going to come third, right? I think that's reasonable to think that we're going to come third. Restore Britain, obviously. But hopefully, we outperform their predictions of 7% by a significant margin. And I've been doing a bit of number crunching, and I was doing a bit of number crunching this afternoon. And some of the things for the if I interview Blue Van Man, I'll be your top guy. I don't know who that is. And some of the scenarios that I was gaming for seem to be coming to pass. So, and I'm not being negative. I'm just trying to be realistic, right? I think that the realistic outcome is because remember, Restore Britain's internal polling had 24% returns, and I assume that's just out of the potential 77,000 voters in that constituency. It's hard to know, right? We don't know until it's all over. So basically, I thought what we'd do is just watch some results come in because the BBC are doing their kind of live update thing. Now, the votes are currently being counted at the moment. Jess Phillips says chaos is possible after the by-election. Oh yeah, let's see what she says. What I'd like to see from a very different man, the Prime Minister, is a recognition of himself. Right, okay, so she's talking about Andy Burnham taking over from him. That's great. There's also a by-election happening in Aberdeen South, where the Conservatives are against the SNP. But I haven't really been paying attention to it, to be honest. No one cares. The Tories have given up on Makerfield, obviously. But this is where it gets interesting, right? So here's Danny Kruger. One of Reform UK's 8 members of Parliament, Danny Kruger, says it's unfortunate there are splinter groups on the right who are getting in the way of Reform's victory. That's interesting. It's our time. It's the Hillary Clinton. But we were prophesied to be the victors here. It's like, but were you? Makefield by-election has the optics of the hobbits rising to scour the Shire. You know, it kind of does, doesn't it? It kind of does. I hadn't even made that connection in my head. But it does have that. Interestingly, in Islander 6, my article is all about the scouring of the Shire. It's my favourite article that I've ever written. I think you're really going to enjoy it, but it's not out yet. It will be soon. But anyway, he says, I suspect the Restore vote is more of a bubble than reporting suggests because it's a very online phenomenon. Well, the thing is, Danny, we know that it's not just a very online phenomenon. Right, there has been plenty of like the Times, the Telegraph, whoever, where they've gone to Makerfield and they've had Rupert Lowe come up to them on the door. Actually, there is a lot of organic support for Restore here. It's not just online because actually people who use the internet also exist in real life, and so this narrative, it's an online phenomenon. That's a cope. That's a massive fucking cope, and as you already confessed, we're getting in the way of Reform's victory. It's the Hillary Clinton. It's her time. Happy birthday to this future president is basically what Danny Kruger is saying here. I don't know, Danny. I don't think you're going to win it. And like I said, I'm not saying we're going to win it. I think Andy Burnham will win it. But I guess we'll see. But like, my predictions are always bad, right? I'm the worst at predicting what's going to happen because I get that voice of doubt in my head and go, no, that can't possibly be. That can't possibly happen. That's not going to work. So I have no idea, right? I have no idea. Anyway, so I want to get to the bit that I found particularly interesting as this goes on, right? Obviously, Keir Starmer didn't campaign in Makerfield, which is weird because you'd think, what can I do to sabotage Andy Burnham? Well, I could go down there and ask people to vote for Andy Burnham, couldn't I? You'd think Keir Starmer would have done it. But apparently he was better than that. But that's Aberdeen. Right, here we go. So, in Makerfield in 2024, the turnout was 52.4% or something like that, right? Which meant that 47.6% of people just didn't turn up. And so, like I said, I've got a sheet just off to the side. I'm not going to show you because it's very, very messy. Where I started wargaming out a few scenarios. At the moment, they think that it's going to be higher than the 52% it was during the general election. Now, that is the interesting bit. Because, of course, Rupert Lowe would have won Great Yarmouth even with a normal turnout. But he had basically doubled the margins of what he needed to win Great Yarmouth because the turnout was so massive. Nicholas Watt has reported some Labour sources believe it could be between 60 and 65%. So that's, say, 13% extra people in Makerfield have turned out for some reason. It's like, right, that's very interesting. That would be high for a by-election. Well, that'd be high for a general election. You just said it was 52% in the general, mate. The last general election was 59% on average in the country. So 65% would be very high for a general election. What's the secret sauce? What's this new magic that people are making for like, yeah, I do want to get out and vote for more of the same? No, right? I don't think that's the case. Labour is cautiously optimistic, while Reform believe Makerfield is too close to call, right? They believe a high turnout for the by-election, but the Labour view is if voter turnout goes above 65, that is percent, that's bad news, as it would suggest that Reform UK is getting people out who would not normally vote. Is it though? Is that what that's suggesting? I'm not sure that is what that's suggesting. I think that's what that's suggesting is actually they're the people who actually decide they want Rupert Lowe and they don't care anymore and they're just going to go for it. That's what that suggests to me. And notice that they don't bring up Restore here at all. It's just, oh, right, no, Reform have galvanised the vote, have they? Yeah, no, they didn't in Gorton and Denton. They haven't elsewhere. But there is one party that does do that. There is one party that is offering them what they actually want. So, just saying, and thank you very much, by the way. Fred, I appreciate you don't owe me that many beers. I try not to drink that much, to be honest, because honestly, beers... full of calories, and I'm desperately trying to get back on my diet. But it sounds like a Coke, doesn't it? So anyway, like I said, I was going through the numbers, and so I'm going to give you a bunch of numbers now. So there are, we'll call it, just round it up to 77,000 total voters in Makerfield. Now, the actual turnout of 52.4% in 2024 was 40,267, meaning there are 36,578 non-voters in Makerfield, people who just didn't vote in the last general election because they didn't fancy it. Now, on a 65% turnout, that goes up to 49,949, so we'll call that 50,000. So that's 14,000 extra... 9,900, we'll call it 9,500 extra voters that turn up out of nowhere. Now, that's good, but that's not seat winning on its own, right? So in 2024, Labour won 18,000 votes. I'll just round down to the nearest 1,000. Reform won nearly 13,000, and the Conservatives won just over 4,000. The Lib Dems, nearly 3,000. The Greens, not even 2,000. And that's basically it. So that 9,000 on its own is a lot of people to bring into politics, into the political arena. But it's not winning on its own. However, it is a pretty significant accomplishment. If that's the only vote that Restore gets in this entire night, and like I said, I have no idea what's going to happen. Like, I'm as informed as everyone else, then that's not a winning vote. And so I don't know. Now, like the polling predictions, as we have seen from the polls. If Labour get sort of 44%, something like that, then they get 17,500 votes. If Reform get the 39-40%, then they get about 16,000 votes. And if Restore get between like 5 and 7%, which is what the very charitable polls are predicting, then they get about 2,000 to 2,500 votes. Now, I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think we're going to do a lot better than 2,500 votes. There are some other numbers that I think is worth just going through, to be honest. So Restore's internal polling have them on 24%. Now, we don't know what that 24% is of. If that's 24% of the 2024 turnout, then that's 9,600 votes. If that's 24% of the entire constituency, then that's potentially 18,000 votes, because there'll be a percentage of those who voted in 2024 who have gone over to Restore from the other parties, and then you add the 13% that's added on top of that. Well, that's actually a winning number. Now, like I said, I'm not saying that's going to be the case. I don't know any of this, so don't hold me to it. But on a 65% turnout, that's like nearly 10,000 votes on its own. And are they going to Labour? Are they going to Reform? I don't know. I'm just saying. So it's hard to know. But it's not impossible, right? It is not impossible. Let's go see what the new update was, just in case something's happened. Oh, snacks. Okay, yeah, that's great. Sorry, I'm gonna. I've got so. Thank you, Russian on the ground. Bev Turner thinks it's 65 to 70% turnout. Well, interestingly, on a 70% turnout, that would be 13,000 votes. Add that to the sort of 2,500, and you are and that's just, let's assume that the poll represents the 2024 turnout, and the excess represents the people generated, brought into politics by Restore Britain. Well, then you've got about 16,000. Again, not quite winning, but it could come second. And man, if we beat Reform in this by-election, that's it. The mandate for Reform would be over completely. You couldn't win in Gorton and Denton. You couldn't win against with the Greens. You couldn't win against Labour in Makerfield. And it really looks like if you weren't standing, then Restore would have won it, and you are the ones who split the vote. All of this, me, splitting the vote, splitting the vote. No. These aren't your votes. You couldn't turn these people out. They're not your votes. They're our votes. People want to vote for Rupert Lowe. That's what they want. They want Restore. They do not want mealy-mouthed, Civnat BS, more of the same, blah, blah, blah. What they want is actually something with meat in it, some actual spine. Like, they want something proper that's actually going to fix the country. And they'll turn out for it when it's on the ballot. And you're the one standing in the way. I mean, I saw, what was it? I saw a Dan Wootton. The lady who's on the ground from Dan Wootton. Let me see if I can find it. And she was saying she's spoken to a lot of Reform voters who, when they've gone and cast their vote and they've said, yeah, I'm going to vote Reform this time. But I would rather, in fact, here we go. But people would rather be voting for Rupert Lowe.
I would say by and large, the majority said they welcomed Restore, and they heavily indicated that further down the line, they would be voting for Restore. Wow. Many of the Reform voters said that at the moment, they feel it's very early for Restore, but they love Rupert Lowe, and they ultimately, there is nothing more important, as I say time and time again, than safeguarding the child. And let's be honest, Rupert Lowe is the only one that has put himself forwards to do that. We have seen mass failures from all of the other parties. Now, when it comes to Reform, when I was in...
So, yeah, that's Laura on the Insider. Yeah, we've got Sky News, as someone pointed out. Rupert Lowe was talking to him, so let's watch that, see if anything interesting comes up there.
Obviously, we'll try and talk to him if we can. But he's the first party leader, if you can call him a party leader. He's a party of one MP himself, MP for Great Yarmouth in East Anglia. And
he won 10 council seats in Great Yarmouth, all of them. Oh, if you can call him a party leader, what a prick.
He clearly has had a major impact on this. So there he is. He looks pretty happy, doesn't he? I don't know, where's he heading now? Oh, he's moving into the room. There he is. Mr. Lowe, sir. It's Sky News. Come and talk to Sky News, sir. Good man. Right, all being well, we're going to talk to Mr. Rupert Lowe.
Come on.
Mr. Lowe, sir, you are live on Sky News. How's your candidate doing?
Should I be worried about that?
No, certainly not. Certainly not.
Well, I think she's done extremely well. I don't know what the result is yet, but, we're here. We're, less than 4 months old. We were told we'd get about 2%. I think we're going to comfortably outdo that. And I think it's time we were on the national polls as a proper party.
And, of course, what you could be doing here, of course, is helping Mr. Burnham defeat his Reform opponent.
Well, we'll see what happens. We don't know the outcome yet. But
if it does,
in a democratic election, you put yourself up as a candidate and you say what you're going to do and you let people vote for you. That's democracy. But, are you saying that's the wrong way of carrying out democracy?
No, I'm not expressing a view, but
it sounded like you might.
No, I'm putting the questions to you. How would you feel, though, if by damaging Reform UK, you help a Labour candidate and Mr. Burnham win here?
Well, as you're aware, I drove a lot of Reform support until Nigel politically assassinated me, so I think you should ask him why
get
he
it
did
out
that.
there.
That's probably the question.
A lot of people confused. You just used the phrase he politically assassinated
We
you.
tried to, he didn't.
What happened? Why did you two fall out?
I don't know. I didn't fall out. He basically booted me out of the party, and false witness statements were made, and police took my guns away, and the whole thing was a mess. And then subsequently, he's admitted the reason he got rid of me. He didn't like my views on mass deportation. So he tried to edit a couple of my speeches. I honestly don't know why he did what he did. You'll have to ask him that.
I'm just asking questions.
I didn't fall out with him.
Sure
It was his decision. It was a one-way deal.
But the fact is, it looks to all of us out on the outside like a feud between you, and here you are standing against him.
There's no feud. There's no feud. I've just got on and set up my own structure, a movement to start with. We set the party up in end of February, so we're less than 4 months old. We swept the board in Norfolk with the county council elections where we were told we'd get 1%. Well, you could have halved all our votes and we'd still have won. And I think there's a vast movement of people who want to see change in the country, and they think that we offer that opportunity. So, look, all I do is sit on the Public Accounts Committee, I speak the truth in Parliament, and I am what I am. I'm not anything that you don't see. So I am what you see, and I'm just getting on with doing what I was elected to do by my wonderful constituency, Great Yarmouth.
You say you sit on the Public Accounts Committee. I'm told that was a deal between you and Geoffrey Clifton Brown, the Tory chairman, who is the MP for where you live in the Cotswolds.
No, there was no deal. I was asked to sit on it because, as you probably know, I've got 20 years' experience in the City of London. I'm probably, compared with most people in Parliament, qualified both financially and in running businesses, which I've set up and run for many years now. And I still have them. So
everyone knows
shit. In Parliament, I've actually had real life experience.
He's so right.
I think if you watch what I do on the
Sky News
Accounts Committee, I'm able to draw on that experience to hold a very deficient civil service to account, which is wasting vast amounts of of taxpayers' money, which they shouldn't be doing.
If it turns out that you taking votes away from Reform UK hands victory to Mr. Burnham...
Well, Reform might be taking votes from me. Who knows? So,
all right.
Do votes belong to Reform?
A split on the...
Do you think votes belong to Reform? Are you saying they own
No, I'm not saying that at all. A split on the right helps Mr. Burnham win, and he takes over he ousts Sir Keir Starmer.
He's absolutely saying
that. You'd like to see?
I don't know. It's too early to say what the result is. Maybe you've got a crystal ball and you know what the result's going to be. I don't.
All right,
but I'm not worried about this vote-splitting narrative, which may or may not have had some effect at the end of the campaign. I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in is democracy, and in a democracy, people vote for what they believe in. If you don't vote for what you believe in, you get the wrong outcome. And I'm not interested really. Labour, in my opinion, are not going to have a general election because they'll lose it, whoever's in charge. The Ghostbuster Burnham, and good luck to him if he's won. I have to give him credit if he's won. This is a democratic election, and you have to pay credit to people who win. If they put themselves up and they stand in a democratic election and they win, credit to them. But the fact of the matter is Labour have done immeasurable damage to the country in the last 2 years. They are not popular with the people. They will not win the next election, whoever's running it, whether it's Starmer, whether it's Streeting, whether it's Al Khan's, or indeed whether it's the Ghostbuster Burnham. So it doesn't make any difference. Labour are going to be there for the foreseeable future, doing more damage to the country, and the British public can see it. I don't
True.
think
All true. Completely
your
true.
rather sort of recidivist narrative.
I've turned the volume down so I can
water whatsoever.
talk a bit over it.
Why do
You sound as if you're making judgments.
No. I'm just asking you a question. Why do you call Mr. Burnham the Ghostbuster?
Well, because he's been built up into this Ghostbuster. In my view, he's not been a particularly successful politician. I don't think he's been a particularly successful mayor of Manchester, but he is an attempt, I think, by a failing party. And if you read my rape gang inquiry, which came out, crowd-funded by 20,000 people on Tuesday, I don't know whether Sky have covered it. I haven't seen you cover it, but everyone should read it. It's absolutely vile what's been happening, and the Labour Party are right at the centre of it all.
Mr. Lowe, thank you very much for talking to Sky News.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much for coming over to
My
talk
pleasure.
to us.
I'm not often on Sky News.
No, well, you're very welcome anytime. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Pleasure.
I love the smile at the end. It's like, my pleasure. It's like he knows that was good for him. He knows that was good for him. Excellent. Absolutely excellent stuff. Love to see it. I'm sorry. I'm checking for updates, obviously, because obviously I've got no one to help me because it's 12:30 and I'm just sat in my office. Flawless. It was great. I wasn't gonna do a stream. I was just like, I can't sleep, and it'll probably be like 3:00 by the time the results come in. So I'm probably not going to get to the end of it. No, it was great. Just for the people sending in super chats and stuff about Asmongold and whatnot. Yes, good for Asmongold. Honestly, I just fucking love Asmongold these days. I absolutely love him. Because I see his clips go around. I don't have time to watch his streams, but I see the clips go around and I watch them and I'm like, he's so right. I like how radicalized he's become by all of this. But no, yeah, good. Honestly, really good on Asmongold for going through the rape gang report. It's just, we covered it on the podcast yesterday, obviously, and it's just harrowing. I had to read it. It was awful. It's just awful. But it's necessary. And that's the good thing. That it's been done. It's like we actually have people doing it. But yeah, so anyway, where are we looking here? So let me just check my... Right, so if there is a 70% turnout, that's 13,500 votes, and that is that would be a dream, right? That would be an absolute dream if we managed to get that many people out. They wouldn't know what to do with themselves. They wouldn't know how to take it. And the thing is as well, it's too early to call, says Lisa Nandy. She knew it'd be a tough fight in Makerfield. Too early to say. She's the MP for Wigan South or something. I can't remember what area of Wigan it is, but she's from Wigan. So they think it's going to be close. Oh. High by-election turnout would be unusual, says what's his name? What's his first name? John Curtis. Yes, Sir John Curtis, the BBC election guru. There's talk of voter turnout in Makerfield being between 60 and 65%. The last time turnout was higher in a by-election than in the preceding general election, you have to go back to 1982 in the by-election at Glasgow Hillhead. It's well over 40 years since we've had an increase in turnout by a by-election. He says that if the turnout was at the upper end of the estimate, i.e. close to 65, that would be the biggest rise in turnout compared to the preceding general election since the 1958 Torrington by-election in Devon. I don't know anything about those by-elections. But what would be really interesting is that nobody wants to talk about why. Like, nobody's saying why the turnout is so much higher. They're not even speculating. Well, it's just higher, I guess. Maybe they're coming out for Nigel Farage for the first time ever for some reason. It's like, yeah, no, there's clearly something happening here. And again, why would it be that so many people are switched off from politics? Why would that be the case? Like this, again, with this, so Bev Turner thinks it's 65 to 70%, and they're like, oh yeah, 60, 65%. So look, you've got this habit of downplaying everything around you. It was exactly the same when it was like, oh right, no, well, there's Restore Britain on the doors. We thought this was just an online phenomenon. We just thought this was nonsense. This was just online racist or whatever. It's like, no, this is normal people. Like the Daily Telegraph podcast went around Makerfield and couldn't find a Reform voter, but they could find Restore voters. And they talked to them like, wow, this guy's a super informed, really normal dude. Like he's just happens to be really informed. And he's voting Restore. And so they're like, oh right, okay, wow. I thought all Restore voters were Nazis or something online. It's like, look, you deliberately keep yourselves blind, and this is a part of it, this downplaying, this not wanting to, because you think that by accurately looking at what's actually happening, you are speaking into existence this thing you really don't want to exist. And just to be clear, folks, you've seen the media coverage. I mean, I covered it in the Acad Daily video earlier. You've seen the media coverage. It's everyone, wall to wall, article after article after article, spiked in the Daily Mail, both hand in hand, one and the same. Just article after article. Oh God, this evil Rupert Lowe, this evil Rupert Lowe. And it's like, okay, but if the entire confederacy of dunces is against us, then we must be onto something here. We must actually be the genuine alternative to the current establishment. And everyone who's lined up against us is wall to wall saying the same narratives. Oh, you're splitting the vote. Oh, you're just an online phenomenon. Oh, this is just a flash in the pan. Oh, this is this. Oh, blah, blah, blah. It's all the same. Oh, you're a bunch of racists. I mean, the Telegraph. Oh, they're white supremacists. It was like, oh, yeah. Daily Mail, you're Nazis. Oh, yeah. I hadn't heard that since The Guardian called me that. Like, you all are the libtard establishment. And we've heard all of your arguments before. Right? We've heard all the insults. We've heard you insulting us. We've heard you slandering our names. That's all you've ever done. And now you're like, oh God, it kind of looks like they're coming for us. I say, yep, I'm not saying we're going to win, but I think that we're going to do better than you think we're going to, and better than you are emotionally prepared for us to do. And if we beat Reform, that's it. The right wing belongs to Restore. Reform is over. That's basically what happens. Reform has shown itself not capable of beating the left, even when we weren't involved. And if we beat Reform, it's not capable of beating the right either. So what's the fucking point of it? God, I just come on, nerds, come on. And the thing is, right, as I said in the Account Daily video, everyone has worked so hard. Well done to everyone. Well, thank you for my guys going up there and doing work up there, getting video footage and interviews and whatnot. Thank you to all the activists going up there on the ground, knocking the doors every day, and literally it'll be thousands in total who went up and made this happen. However we do, the credit is to you guys. And of course, thank you to Rebecca Shepherd for being just a sensible candidate. Like, no media scandals, right? No, like, ridiculous. And things they were complaining, oh, she won't do any interviews with us. It's like, what's the point? What's the fucking point? It would be much more of a useful use of your time as a candidate in a by-election. Just knock on doors. There's no point for her to speak to the entire country or internationally, but there is a point for her to go knocking on doors and talking to people in real life. That's more effective. That's more useful, and it doesn't give you ammunition to attack her with, to hurt her with, to smear her, to slander her. So why not? Why not just ignore the media? If you can, well then let it work. Anyway, let's see what else we've got. Can I watch the BBC's live report? I don't know. I don't know if I watch live, it's going to want me to sign into something. I really don't want to sign into anything. Yeah, the weather's going to be great. Yeah, Farage blew it. And he did this to himself. He did it to himself. Absolutely. And I've got no sympathy whatsoever with it. No sympathy. Yeah, sorry. There are lots of comments about the rape gang inquiry, and yeah, it's exactly as harrowing as you think. And those people who are trying to pick it up, oh, I've got semantic questions and issues with it. It's like, I don't care. I wanted to hear the testimony of the victims because that's what we never got, and now we've got it. It's it's worse than you can possibly fucking imagine. I mean, it's just harrowing, hell on earth. It's genuinely awful. It's torture. It's sex slavery and torture. And so to try and like, oh no, I need to downplay this. No, I'm not interested in hearing it. Like, oh, it's political. Yeah, it is political. It's because Farage promised it and didn't do it. If Farage had done this and this come out, I wouldn't be like, well, I'm going to. No, I'd be like, okay. Doesn't matter that Farage did it. Look at this. This has to be stopped. Absolutely atrocious. But no, everyone, people getting like partisan about it. It's like, well, I'll deal with it. Schrodinger's Restore says, Robber Ross. Oh man, I love Red Dwarf. No one has heard of us, and yet we're splitting the vote simultaneously. I know. What do I have to click on the live? I don't know. But thing is, I don't want to sign into anything. I don't want to give the BBC any. What kind of picture of Andy Burnham is that? Like, honestly, even the BBC's bought into the Andy Burnham as the next Satan. SNP downbeat in Aberdeen South. Well, that's good. I mean, don't get me wrong. No love for the Conservatives, but I'd rather see them beat the SNP. Yeah, right. Okay, let me keep looking around for stuff. But yeah, so who knows? Let's see what else we can find. I am starting to really get tired of the Monster Raven Loony Party and Count Binface and stuff like that. It's just like, look, guys, tens of thousands of girls are being raped. I'm not. We're just not in a position where we can have this kind of frivolous politics. When we get back to our country being about us and not foreigners, a rape playground for foreigners, then we can talk about frivolous politics. But until then, I'm not really up for it, to be honest. Can't say I'm really up for it. Right, okay, the Times behind a paywall. Let's see what the Guardian's got. So, John Curtis is giving this BBC bit. Sky News said it could be 60%, BBC 65%. As Russian said, Bev Turner says maybe up to 70%, who knows? So that'll be exciting. Reform Sarah Pochin defends video urging England team to keep winning to stop domestic violence escalating. England won the football last night, and thank God they did, because on occasions that England lose their football matches, the incidence of domestic violence goes through the roof. So, boys, keep winning. That's a weird message. It's got an odd tone. Okay. I actually don't mind Sarah Pochin. I agree with her. There are far too many black and Asian people on TV. It's total misrepresentation, as my representation video the other day, why they race swap explains. So, she's got the right instincts, and she'll just come out and say it sometimes, which is funny. You can tell that Nigel Farage is, occasionally she'll be in the news and Farage, oh, for fuck's sake, Sarah. Could you not just shut up? So I quite like her. So there's the count. Keir Starmer should stand down after the Makerfield by-election. Yeah, but what if... the thing is, it's not guaranteed that Burnham wins. What if Burnham doesn't win? Why would Starmer stand down? Don't get me wrong, I think Starmer should stand down. Every day he does something psychotic. Apparently today he wanted to end whole life orders for murderers. And it's like... I saw people memeing on it, as in posting executioner's swords, being like, well, that's a bold choice, Keir. But that's obviously not what he's going to mean. But it's like, well, who asked for that? When was that in your manifesto? You guys are maniacs. Absolutely maniacs. White boy summer, am I right? It feels like it's coming, doesn't it? It feels like it's coming. It was a lovely day today as well, which is fine. Good. About time you get some summer. if Burnham were to lose, there would have to be a complete rethink by Labour, suggesting Starmer would also have to go. Yeah, you know what's really interesting about that is that Labour don't have anyone else. Burnham is basically the last hope to save the Labour Party, and I'm not even convinced he can beat Keir Starmer in an internal Labour Party election, like a leadership election. It's not evident that he can. I mean, Camilla Tomney was talking to some Labour activist on a podcast the other day, and she's like, well, I've got a poll here that shows them both on 36% with the membership. And it's like, okay, well, it's not clear that you'll win, and Starmer has like the incumbent advantage. So, who knows? Frank, well done, Sargon. You stopped Reform from winning and sunk the right. Labour pundits love you. They don't love me, mate. They don't love me. And we're not sunk. I think this is what the right winning actually looks like. Because I don't really consider Reform to be the right. Reform lied and betrayed their own parliamentarians. And we're sick of being lied to. We're sick of being stabbed in the back. We're not getting any more Fell for It Again awards. We're going to get what we actually want, which again, Rupert Lowe in that Sky News interview was like, no, people can vote for what they actually want this time. But everyone was like, wow, this turnout's really high. It's like, yeah, maybe they will. Maybe they will actually vote for what they actually want. That's like very exciting. So, come on, like I want. See, this is why I didn't want to do like a big Lotus Seaters election night thing, because it gets slow when it's like one thing and there's no particular information, and it's like, oh god, it's not enough for a big thing, and it's probably gonna be hours until we get the result, which is annoying. But we'll keep like watching in. Let's see who we've got here.
We have seen this is the first time in nearly 40 years, since 1987, that we've seen turnout go up in a by-election on the previous general election turnout score. So this just doesn't happen. By-elections just aren't as engaging for voters as a general election. There's 5 or 6 weeks of campaigning beforehand. And what that suggests to me is that the voters of Makerfield, they're not fools. They can see what's at stake here, and they've responded by engaging with this process in larger numbers, something we very rarely see in by-elections.
Yeah, well, Sam, as far as Rob Ford is suggesting, it is a big deal that it's gone up. 58.75% is the turnout. Who do you think that would help?
So we were, as Rob was saying, hearing figures of maybe even upwards of 65%, so slightly below what I thought maybe some of the Labour figures were hoping for. But look, I think this is a moment where Makerfield has been flooded by campaigners. I think there were thousands of figures from the Labour Party up.
Right, so that would be a turnout if they are Restore voters, which, again, there's no guarantee that they are. That would be about 5,500 votes on 58%. About 5,800 votes, actually. Which, I mean, is not it's a respectable number, but it's not going to be a winning number, obviously, for Restore. But I guess we'll see. I mean, like I said at the beginning, I think we'll come third. But what I'm hoping is that we just do a much better turnout than they predicted us to have. If we can get 15%, that'd be amazing. 'Cause that'd be double what they forecast for us, and that feels like it would be plausible, right? That feels like a plausible number. So I guess we'll find out. But what's this guy called again?
Campaign over the last 6-7 weeks, with thousands of activists out knocking doors. Makerfield certainly know they've had a by-election if you don't like politics, and it's probably been a little bit tedious, but it's been fantastic to see just now that turnout figure, and it's great to have people engaged and voting. I'd like to see that grow at every election.
What does Andy Burnham bring to the Westminster Labour Party?
Well, Andy Burnham's been a fantastic MP, he's been a fantastic minister, fantastic mayor for Manchester, and I'm really excited to hopefully see him on Monday in the Commons. He brings a vibrant personality. We also know that he can deliver across the board. We saw that as minister within the NHS and with Manchester. So it's a really exciting time for the party, and we love winning, so hopefully we'll get that tonight.
10% would be fine. 10% would be a nice, solid result. Yeah, it would have been nice if it was higher than 58%. But, yeah, no, I mean, literally 42% of people are just like, yeah, I'm not bothered. And that's genuinely a problem with British democracy, frankly. But, oh yeah, it's Mike Tapp, that's it.
Prime Minister, he won a landslide victory just 2 years ago, overturning a deficit of 18% since from the 2020.
Enjar says, I'm also predicting we get third. If we get close to Labour reform vote share, that's a good outlook for our future. Yeah, I mean, remember, this is month 4. So that's pretty good going. And if we can just do better than they expect, then essentially, and the thing is, they've done us a great favour here, right? Was watching Dan Whitman because Connor is on, but this is a relief because some of the annoying guests they've got on. Poor Connor. Yeah, I saw him going at this Green Party woman, and she was like, "You can't blame immigrants for demographic replacement." It's like, well, no, I blame the government, but you are the demographic replacement. So, you know, you're not like separate from it. But yeah, I haven't had time to watch any of it, obviously, because I've been busy with doing Archer's stream. But yeah, so 58%. 59% saying nearly. I did hope for more. I was hoping for the 65%. That would have been good. But I mean, it's good that it's up. And I do suspect that means we'll get a punchier showing than otherwise would have been expected. I wish Carl was more optimistic. Well, I try to be realistic, right? I try to be, and it's always nice to be pleasantly surprised, right? When these things do go our way, it's nice that I'm like, oh wow, okay, that's better than I expected. Because I don't like hyping and then getting disappointed. And this is why I could never be a football fan. Because I watch football fans let this game control their emotions, and it controls their emotional states. And then this is what Sarah Pocham was talking about, right? When the team loses, I've seen just dozens of football fans across my life. They genuinely get depressed because they got into the hype of, oh, we're going to win, it's coming home. And then they lose and they're like, oh, I'm crushed. And I'm like, oh my God, that is a hell of an emotional roller coaster. I would rather just be in control of my own emotions. I'd rather be able to regulate my own emotions. And so not getting hype is how I do that with this sort of thing. And it's nice, you know, to not have to suffer the great crash when everyone's like, oh no, the crying like Hillary Clinton supporters the day after and stuff like that. You know, I don't like to go through that. But it's nice if we do win. Yeah, reminder, 100% of my election predictions are wrong, so we still have a chance, boys. Yeah, no, yeah, totally. We don't have any results yet, I'm afraid. Yeah, I'd be happy, bare minimum 10%, happy with 15%, delighted with 20%. Yeah, I agree. These would be amazing. But I guess we'll find out, won't we? You know, who knows? Like I said, I don't like to hype. I might be wrong. I have no idea. No one's got any particular insight, it seems. So I guess we'll find out. I'll just keep scanning Twitter to see if I find anything. I'll leave this on just so you can hear Mike.
So miserably, so we mustn't fall into that trap. We've got to have stability to deliver, and that's why I'm fully behind the Prime Minister.
Yeah. So what happens now? I mean, if Andy
Burnham
wins... Why does he
look like a man on death row? Looks like he's about to be executed, doesn't he?
Starmer do? And at what point will people go to him, senior members of his cabinet, potentially the Ed Miliband's of this world, and they say to him, get a dignified exit. Now is the time. Is it your belief that he'll still stick it out?
No, this is old Ireland.
Well, I don't know, because I don't know what's going to happen next, and we see twists and turns in politics all the time. I've learned quite quickly in the 2 years that I've been here that Westminster is a really strange place and often doesn't reflect what the people are thinking. And I've heard on the doorstep many, many times that they don't want to see more turmoil in government. They want to see delivery. And I come back to the fact that delivery comes from stability. That Keir Starmer's had 2 years since he won a landslide election. Let's give him 5 and more potentially, so that we can turn the country around from the absolute disaster that we inherited.
Well, I mean, he is learning, is he not, like Boris Johnson did, that winning a landslide isn't always enough to keep you in post. We understand that Keir Starmer invited ministers, junior ministers, into Downing Street, had them around the cabinet table to explain why he was the right man to stay in the job. Were you amongst them? What did he say to you, if you were?
Yeah, I've been to a couple of those important meetings.
Oh, you're boring me, Mike. So, yeah, the total number of votes cast is 45,510. So, yeah, again, he's got to toe the party line. So, in his defence, he doesn't have much of a choice here. Right, okay, so lots of the politics feeds are like the Andy Burnham camp think that they're becoming increasingly confident. Yeah, a friend at Restore has told me 10% as well, but that was how long ago? That was an hour ago. 10% so far. So I guess we'll find out. In fact, I'll message them and see if there's any updates. But how many people live in Makerfield? Well, the people who can vote is 76,845. Actually, I happen to have the exact number. So that nearly 60% turnout is higher than usual. So that's general election level turnout. The last general election was 59% overall. So yeah, there's about another 5.5, nearly 6,000 voters who voted on top of what was voted last time in 2024. I mean, even if that's only the Restore vote, that's still a lot better than they were expecting. So that would be... I mean, that would be 15% of the vote. Oh, sorry, 13% of the vote on a 60% turnout. That would be 13% of the vote. So that would be really, really fine. That would be totally fine. Like, if we got 6,000 votes, that's us essentially double that 7%, massively outperforming what the polls say. I go back to Will Colehill's amazing, yeah, number 3, but yeah, I would go back to that. I'd be like, yeah, no, that's perfectly fine with that.
Labour, the SNP won it in 2015, the Tories won it in 2017, and we won it back to back in 2019 and 2024. This was
the SNP. If the by-election result disappoints, how do we explain the strong pro-Restore feeling on the ground and positive anecdotes? I suspect it'll be the split the vote narrative, because as on the ground, Lauren was her name, Lauren the Insider. As she pointed out, a lot of the Reform voters she'd spoken to, there aren't any exit polls, by the way, as far as I'm aware. A lot of the people she'd spoken to were going to vote for Reform, but were very interested in Restore. And we saw a poll the other day that showed that from More in Common, I think it was, that showed something like 45% of current Reform supporters, members and voters, would, if there was no Reform on the ballot, would just vote for Restore. So that's half that party, basically, that's primed to come over to us. and then making ground outside in the constituency of people who don't turn out for the previous elections because they're disillusioned with politics. So honestly, like I just think it's inevitable that we carry on growing for this. And the great thing about all of this, like I was saying earlier with the media attacks, what they've done is validate us as the opponent. Right, they've validated us as the opposition. They have all declared, they have used their megaphones to draw the public's attention, say, hey, they're the villains. We hate those guys. Don't you dare like those guys. We hate those guys. So they can never use the excuse, oh, no one knows who Restore are. No, we do, because you had a massive media campaign, wall to wall, against us. You were putting us on the front pages of your newspapers. You all know who we are, and we're going to keep going. So what do we do if Restore doesn't win the end? There is no alternative. Restore is going to win in the end. Generica says, England expects every man will do his duty, and your duty is nothing less than to be the protagonists of Western civilization that your enemies fear that you might become. Yeah, be the Westerner that the foreigners think you are. Because whenever they talk about us, man, they talk about us in glowing terms, don't they? Whether they like it or not. Any chance I could do a reading list? Basically, every book club on the loadseaters.com website is a good start. Go for that. Is this a win-win-win for us? Yeah, Base Tape. I don't think there's a loss condition as long as we don't get like 5%. Best case, Restore. Second, best, Starmer, the unhinged psychopath, gets challenged. Third, Nigel gets a nosebleed. Yeah, but not only that, we've been put on the map by them. Like they have accepted that we are a force in British politics, which is why they engaged in a mass media attack on us in the last week. Like this, and they all did it, all of them. So this has just been nothing but a win for us. And the show of force that we were able to put out in Makerfield is incredible. Again, well done to the activists, like the 1,000 activists who turned up on that Saturday. I think that was the thing that provoked the hostile media reaction. Not only were they looking at their own internal polling going, God, why are Restore turning up in this? But see the 1,000 people turning up on the ground, just be like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is something. And remember, this is a really unusual by-election as well, right? There's a really unusual state of affairs because not only is Nigel Farage actually has put everything on the line here, but also Labour have as well. So the fact that it's Andy Burnham in the best seat he could ask for, really, he'll probably win it because it's the best seat he can ask for. But it's the sort of event that can't happen twice, right? This only happens once. And so if there's another by-election for whatever reason somewhere else, but in a seat that is favourable to Restore, well, we're going to fight that one too. You're not going to have the Andy Burnham effect. Are Reform going to be up for another fight like this? I don't know. I don't know if they are. They keep losing by-elections. I imagine they spend a lot of resources on these by-elections, and they keep losing them. So are they going to be like, yeah, do we need to fight that? Do we need this? Is this actually going to help? And so the sort of the bleed begins to worsen, right? Because at the moment, Reform are like a wounded animal, and I think they're bleeding out. And so, I mean, if they win, they can prove me wrong by winning this by-election. But I think they're bleeding out, and I think they know. I think this is Nigel Farage, head in hands stuff. I think he knows things aren't great. And like he said in his Ian Dale one, well, I'm the best one right now, but who knows in 2 years' time? It's like, wow, that's a really weird answer to the question, are you going to be the Prime Minister? If you had the wind in your sails, you say yes. You just say yes. You just say, yeah, that's what's going to happen. Do we have an update?
In 2024, that they would take that seat in Scotland, a referendum.
Blah, 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 Scotland. Don't care. Didn't ask. Let's go to the BBC, see what else we got. If the Tories won Aberdeen South, well, good luck to them. Turnout. Nothing new. This is why. Don't do one big thing on one by-election. There's not enough to it. Let's see what the Guardian's updates are. Aberdeen South, great. Burnham has surpassed expectations, pulling back reform voters, according to Lisa Nandy. That's interesting, isn't it? How is it Reform can lose their voters to Labour? Oh, that's bad. If I were them, I'd be pretty annoyed about that. We lost everyone to Makerfield to reform the local elections. Whatever the result is tonight, we can actually change people's mind, bring people back to us. Again, why would you I thought Andy Burnham's campaign was not good, to be honest. I was obviously following it. I thought the For Us logo was not great. It was kind of dystopian, kind of Orwellian, to be honest. The sort of little graphic of Andy Burnham being like, for us. It's like, okay, who's us in this calculation, you know? Restore will almost certainly not be ready to win in 2028, much more consolidate the right by 2032. Well, our election's in 2029, and I don't know, man. We're already this much of a threat, an active threat to the establishment parties, and to the point where Nigel Farage and the Labour Party lined up shoulder to shoulder and said, not you, we hate you. So I don't know. I mean, it's been 4 months, and we're already this much of a threat. I don't see why we can't just keep going. Who knows where we'll be in another 4 months, you know? So there'll be more, there are council elections next year. There are by-elections to win. There will be more by-elections. So it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not convinced that we do have to lack confidence in ourselves. Because remember, 3 years ago, Reform weren't in the position they were in, right? 3 years ago, Nigel Farage wasn't an MP, and he was going to swan off to America. 3 years ago, they were on like fucking 30% or something. So it's just like, I don't know, man. I'm not convinced that 3 years is too much time. Too short a time, sorry. Jefferson says, from over here in America, it does seem like Restore Britain has the greater war chest in terms of volunteered man hours. Other parties have to pay for that. Yeah, it's remarkable, isn't it? Restore established themselves as a serious national political party in less than a year. In a third of a year. They have huge potential if they can use the momentum. Yep. Rupert's live on the BBC. Oh, can I get the BBC? Let's see if I can sign in. Watch.
I don't think Reform's got a clue who are members of their party. I'm still on their list, and supposedly I was politically assassinated last year. So
are you still a member? Is actually like, but starting with the political there.
Renewables as well because of
grooming gang report, but he.
I mean, there's as well as the parliamentary by-elections. We've got two local council by-elections there tonight.
No updates yet.
3 actually. Another one in Essex on the county council.
In Essex, what happened in the local elections
bated breath
last week.
Sorry?
In Essex, we've just taken the entire council from you guys.
And you've lost both those council seats.
A couple of little by-elections, but we just won the entire council.
You were saying they was really important. Councillors are not important. They're really important.
I think what's interesting
compared to the whole county, which we just won last month.
Kevin, they cleaned up at your expense in some of the.
Or less than what
is in itself a poll, and it's going to be interesting to see what the outcome is, but I think it's too early to say exactly. But it looks like the turnout's high, which should be good for us.
You say, though, you were staggered by some of the comparisons that people have made about Restore Britain, but some people were staggered when you said that Tommy Robinson, Stephen Yaxley-Lennon, who's a convicted offender, was welcome to join your party.
Henpecking!
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that, Laura. Hang on, let's get it right. What I said...
Well, I've got it here. You said if Tommy Robinson wants to join us, that's up to him.
I was asked the question... Was Tommy Robinson a member of our party? And I said, I don't know, because I don't look at the membership every day, and nor does anybody in any party across the spectrum. And by the way, there are some pretty unpleasant people who are members of the Green Party or members of other parties on whether you take the left or the right. There are lots of unpleasant people everywhere, right? And I'm not aware of any party that audits its membership. And what I actually said was, I don't know if Tommy Robinson's a membership. If he decides to part with £20 and join Restore Britain, that's a matter for him. That's what I said.
Indeed, and I can explicitly, the precise quote is, if Tommy Robinson wants to join us, that's up to him. Now, the point, the reason I'm asking that is because you're political...
Well, isn't that what I just said, Laura?
Yes, Laura, that's exactly what he just said, because literally, parties don't go and claim people and drag them into the party. People go to the party's website and say, I would like to sign up as a member. And then that just gets done automatically, added to a database. That's how that works, Laura. And Rupert's right. Parties don't just go around randomly auditing their own memberships. Anyone can join any party. I might join every single fucking political party in this country right now. I could literally do it live and stream and nothing would change. No one would have anything to say. Well, I mean, they might kick me out eventually. But only after, like, some big media scandal.
Other people who are in different political parties to you say explicitly that he would not be welcome to join them. That's why I'm asking you the question, including Nigel Farage has always said that Tommy Robinson would not be part of the Reform Party, the party that he leads. So why do you take a different approach?
Because Nigel Farage is a fucking cuckold. That's the problem. Because oh no, please, Laura Kusenberg, I need your approval. Please, I need the approval of Laura Kusenberg because she's frowning at me. She looks very serious. But this is the bad man. Are you not going to bow down to my moral dictates? I invoked the bad man. Tommy Robinson, sorry, Stephen Yaxley Lennon. I have invoked his name. Now you have to grovel at my fucking feet, is what she's saying. And Rupert's just like, oh, no, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not doing that, and I'm not playing your game.
Well, look, Laura, at the end of the day, I just said nobody audits their membership. Are you aware of the Tories auditing their membership? Or I don't think Reform's got a clue who are members of their party. I'm still on their list, and supposedly I was politically assassinated last year. So
are you still a member of Reform?
At the end of the day, they still send me all their stuff. Yeah, it still comes through. I don't think anybody audits their membership list. So it's a pretty puerile question, frankly. But and Tommy Robinson, I've given him credit for what he did on the grooming gangs. And I don't know whether you've read our grooming gang report, but he was very early out of the traps on
grooming gang report.
This pervasive evil, which I'm sad to say the BBC...
Just to be clear, this is what Nigel Farage should have done every single time, right? So, oh, Tommy Robinson, right, yeah, grooming gangs. You covered up grooming gangs, didn't you? You, the BBC, harbour paedophiles like Jimmy Savile and Hugh Edwards and Rolf Harris and blah, 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 blah. Go on the attack. Perfect. Don't just fucking sit there. Go on the attack.
Have not covered at all, and we issued this huge report, which was crowdfunded by 20,000 people on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. I'm not aware that you've covered it at all as a national monopoly, which is supposed to cover everything that is of relevant interest to the British people, and I think that's quite extraordinary.
I want to bring in your former colleague, Danny Kruger, who's been listening carefully to you. I would also point out to everybody watching, the BBC's extensively covered the dreadful issue of grooming gangs over...
See now, look, she's on the defence. Oh, no, we absolutely did cover it. We absolutely did. We don't cover it in the detail that would actually be illuminating to the British public, but we definitely did cover it. And see, she's dancing to his tune now. So good. Such a good move.
A period of many years. But Danny Kruger, Laura, you've been listening carefully to Rupert Lowe, of course.
Danny, I don't think you covered it properly, Laura, which of course they didn't. Amazing. Absolutely. Look, yeah, he shut it down. Exactly. Well, let's back to the studio now. Amazing. Love it. Mogging them. Absolutely mogging them. Labour and Reform dissect Makerfield turnouts. Baroness Smith of Labour tells BBC she's encouraged by the turnout. If we manage to get that many Labour voters to go out and make a difference, that would be good news for us. Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it, for you? Danny Kruger says, well, these high turnouts happen when there's an insurgent party, and that's what's happening now. Yeah, but what's the insurgent party, Danny? Nobody thinks the insurgent party is Reform. No more updates there. Anything on The Guardian? God, Jesus Christ! Look at the turnout in Aberdeen South. 31.4%. 31.4. Jesus Christ. Let me just quickly calculate. Let's just guess they've got about 77,000. Right? What does that make? That's 24,000 votes. Again, I don't know what Aberdeen South's actual number is, but they tried to keep the constituencies roughly even. So there's roughly around 100,000 adults, and usually, I guess, about 70,000, 80,000 are registered to vote. But man, that is really fucking low, isn't it? Like, you can see where the political energy in the country is. That's really interesting. Really interesting. Yeah, good God, he's good, isn't he? Says Angel. He's a true leader. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Nigel Farage didn't do this. He whimpers. He pules. He said, oh, please, please stop calling me a racist. Rupert Lowe's just like, I don't care. You didn't cover the grooming gangs properly. I have a standard I'm going to apply to you. They say Tommy Robinson, real name Stephen Yaxley Lennon, like he's a Warhammer demon they're trying to bend to as well. I know, it's mad, isn't it? It's mad. Yeah, the BBC covered it by calling the victims prostitutes. God, that would have been a killer line, wouldn't it? That would have been a killer fucking line. I mean, that was back in like 2003. Oh, the SNP have conceded defeat in Aberdeen South. Well done, Tories. I got no fucking sympathy with the Tories. But I hate the SNP, so, but I hate the Tories too. So, never mind. Right, let's see what else is going on. What's going on, Sky?
Reform. We've seen anti-reform tactical voting before, notably in the Caerphilly by-election from the Senedd a few months back, and it looks as though Mr. Burnham is on course here. We're not quite sure how soon he's going to arrive here, but excuse me, there is a mood really of anticipation here. And I think we are moving to the sort of business end of the evening. There's talk of Mr. Burnham arriving here fairly soon. We'll obviously let you know when we know when that's going to happen. At the moment, I'm just looking at some Labour Party people there.
TV News
got broad smiles on their faces. So the bookies always had Mr. Burnham odds-on favourite to win here. That looks as though it's going to happen.
Let's see if we can get that. War Thunder. There we go.
I don't think the prospects for this country are very good. And I think the votes are...
Aberdeen South for a... In fact, in a moment, I might have a look at some of the other consequential by-elections. I've been doing some history research, and I think it's fair to say that this might be the most consequential by-election ever. Well, it's a contest that looks set to determine who becomes Britain's next Prime Minister, of course. Turnout in the Makerfield by-election is 58.75%, it's been announced. Now, that's higher than at the general election 2 years ago. Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham hopes to become an MP, which would, of course, make him eligible to challenge Sir Keir Starmer for the leadership of the ruling Labour Party. The Reform Party's Robert Kenyon, a local plumber who came second in the seat at the last general election in 2024.
GB News, yes. God, you never have me on.
We don't want to back
you'll
your
get into trouble for having me on.
No, of course we won't.
You
of course we won't. We absolutely will not.
So give him hell,
Rupert. Was it worth the risk potentially splitting that vote if it means Andy Burnham ends up in number 10?
I'm not interested in... Do votes belong to anybody?
You tell me.
No, you tell me. I'm asking you the question. You asked me a question.
No one wants to wait.
By the question you asked, you sort of seem to assume the votes belong to somebody. They don't.
If they're at risk,
votes are for the public to cast, for those people they believe in. So nobody can split a vote. What you do is you have a roster of people standing and the public decide who they're going to vote for. Votes do not belong to anybody. They don't belong to Andy Burnham. They don't belong to me. They don't belong to Reform. They belong to nobody.
But if we take a look at the polls, it does seem that it's been a bit of a two-horse race, doesn't it, between...
Well, I don't mind if Reform want to stand down. I'm happy with that. If the Tories want to stand down, I'm happy with that.
But what will you say if it means Andy Burnham ends up in number 10? Was that worth the risk?
I don't think it makes any practical difference whether we have Andy Burnham in number 10, whether we have Keir Starmer remaining, whether we have Wes Streeting, whether we have Al Carnes, whoever else decides to stand. Labour have done untold damage to this country in 2 years. They're complete charlatans. The front bench has no idea what it's doing. They have no idea of the consequences of the legislation they're passing, of the taxes that they're effectively levying on an increasingly small, productive Britain, which is being taxed into oblivion to fund an increasingly inefficient state, which now accounts for far too much of GDP. So I don't think it makes any difference. Labour won a landslip election victory on a very low turnout, on a very low share of the vote, right? So they've got a big overall majority, and a lot of those Labour MPs will be one-term MPs, because Labour is not going to get re-elected again. It doesn't matter whether Starmer's running the party, whether the Ghostbuster Burnham's running the party, whether Streeting's running the party. They're all Fabian sort of fools, as I call them, the whole lot of them.
Totally
so they
true.
don't know what they're doing, and the British public can see that. So they're not going to win another general. They're not Labour. And have you read our rape gang report, which came out on Tuesday?
I have not.
Well, you should read it, because that puts into context the failures of the Labour Party, which have allowed the evil to be perpetrated on the most vulnerable people in our society for the last 30, 40 or 50 years. And it goes to the root of power and elections and votes over principles. So you should read it.
But it's easy to say from the wings,
And so should
isn't it?
everybody in the country.
But it's easy to say from the wings that Labour has failed. How would Restore succeed? What would you do to succeed?
Well, if you read the policy documents that we're producing, which we're putting on our website,
Well, for our viewers, tell us, just summarise.
have you read our policy document on mass deportations? Have you read those?
You just summarise.
Have you read any of our policy documents?
I have not, but
why not?
Many of our viewers might not have either.
Why not?
Tell us. Just
They're on our
summarise for
website.
us. I'm sure they are, but just tell us for our viewers at home.
You have to be able to read quite a long document and actually concentrate for long enough to take it in. But yes,
but that's not
we are producing documents on everything from mass deportations to we explain why it isn't possible at the moment, how we put that right, and then how we deal with it. And we get rid of people who are arriving illegally, living here illegally, foreign criminals in our prisons. It's all been written down so people can analyse it, question it, and challenge it, okay? Same, big economic paper coming out. Big paper coming out on defence.
But are big papers the way to vote?
They are. That's the most important thing. You have to have a plan. You asked me what we're going to do. We are going to have policy plans which will show people what we intend to do and how we intend to change the way the country is governed. And it's not being governed very well at the moment.
Just tell her that you're going to deport millions.
And there's no accountability.
And you think, just final word, and you think Restore are the ones to restore Britain, I suppose?
At the moment, we've got a fantastic team of people who are working very hard. And if we get a significant vote, a party that's less than 4 months old, to get a significant vote in a national election will be a tremendous result. And I think it's a credit to all my team, to Rebecca Shepherd. We won all the county council elections in Norfolk. You could have halved every vote and we'd have still won. We won a borough council election, and we're intent on taking control of local councils, particularly where I'm an MP in Norfolk, and then hopefully nationally in 29 we can take control. Because if we don't get control by 29, I don't think the prospects for this country are very good. And I think the British people can see that now. So we have had incredible encouragement from everybody we talked to.
Absolutely love that Velo is pushing the rape gang report. This is a great use of the airtime. Again, truly a great leader. Correct, asking for the Reddit, a man of principle. Yeah, I know, it's brilliant. It's absolutely
Not only that, the encouragement we got from what we did in Norfolk was incredible. So I think let's look at what we've achieved, and I'm not worried about what we do with regard to anybody else. Nobody owns any vote. Every vote is up for grabs. And if the British people want to vote for me, or want to vote for Reform, or want to vote for Labour, that's up to them. Not up to you or me.
Well, the polls will tell. Thank you for your time.
We'll see. The poll is tonight. We're going to see what the poll is.
The results will come.
We were told we get 2%, but I think we'll get more than that.
Oh, that's a big... I'll hold you to that. Thank you for your time.
Whoever wins, Labour is still in control. Show Nigel that Restore is a force to be reckoned with is important. Go Rupert. Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. Like, it's important that they know that we are serious and we are coming for them. Let's see where Sky News are at this point.
Than some opinion polls suggest. It looks as though Mr Lowe's party's taken votes off Reform UK, so it looks as though it might be a rather disappointing evening for Reform UK, even though they did say earlier that they were going to get a good percentage share of the vote, and Sarah Pochin's been saying that a few times. Oh my goodness. A man with a bin on his head.
Oh, God.
And it's not the Tory candidate. Looks like something out of Star Wars. Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
I want you to talk to him.
No, I'm going to hand you back to. Oh right. Okay.
You want to talk to me?
Yeah, go on then.
Go on then.
Right.
Back to the nation.
Who are you?
My name. What kind of journalist is this? You don't know? Have a look.
I've got my list here.
Burnham.
No, I realise that. Oh, you're Count Binface, yeah?
There you go. You did go to journalism school. Excellent. Yes,
a long time ago.
I beg your pardon?
I said a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, well, I wouldn't have known.
Why are you standing in this election? Just a stunt?
It's A, because it's happening. B, I was at a loose end. C, because I believe elected mayors should serve out their terms before they're eligible to stand for Parliament.
Oh, you've made a sensible serious political point there.
Well, no, you're supposed to be impartial, mate. So let me carry on. I'm going to rephrase the traffic lights on Liverpool Road. I'll price cap Wigan kebabs at £2. I'll make cyclists who disobey the highway code have to ride unicycles instead. And I will turn HS2 into FFS1 and reroute it.
Not going to swear, are you?
No, I'm perfect. Although we are past the watershed, but don't worry, I'm a
No, we don't want you swearing, please.
I promise I won't. I'm a good boy. And no, but I'm going to reroute it through rail executives' homes. I'm going to build at least one affordable house. I mean, I could go on. What's Andy said he's going to do?
Oh, he said lots he's going to do, and he changes his mind from time to time. But anyway, are you going to save your deposit? Probably.
This is why everyone's so like this. Oh, Andy Burnham's the worst thing in the world. It's like, you don't know what he is. What he is basically a man who goes with the breeze. You know, the Blairite, the Brownite, and the Starmerite, or whatever it is. In fact, joke made in the office today. Burnham's just going to turn out to be a Starmerite. Like, he's agreed to Rachel Reeves's financial economic plan. He's agreed with Shabana Mahmood's immigration plan. He'll probably agree with Ed Miliband's energy plan. He's just going to be running Starmer's government instead of Starmer. Like, he's not going to do anything different. He's just Starmer, just in a softer face. I love all the confusion of the Yanks and check out about Camp Binface. Yeah,
he used to be the MP for Leeds, just not very far from here.
Exactly. If I win, I swear.
That's not going to happen.
Well, exactly. So I'm going to say, I swear I'll move to Makerfield if I win.
Okay, all right. I'm sure they'll all be delighted. Well, I'm sure there's other people who want to interview you. Thank you for talking to Sky News.
It's my pleasure. Okay. Well interviewed. Well done.
Hello. You think the Sky News guy would have more of a sense of humour about it?
Well, Anna, I think I got the short straw there.
Got a crowd of people watching that. I mean, people were filming you interviewing Count Binface, and I'm afraid for me, you've lost your by-election king crown because you didn't know who he was, and everybody knows who Count Binface is. Let's be honest about it. But anyway, he's still.
See, the thing I loathe about these comedy candidates is really they're just shit libs who support the status quo. Look at everyone knows who Count Binface is. He's so funny on Twitter when he's like led by donkeys, reinforcing everything I already believe. Okay, is that really what's necessary? Like, the court jester turns up. Oh, great. He's just gonna say everything that they already think. Oh, okay, great. What kind of court jester is that? Like, a court jester was the court jester because he was meant to tell the king the things that the king didn't want to hear. But because he was the jester, the king couldn't do anything about it, right? It's gauche to do something bad to your jester when he tells you the truth. So the jester had this kind of privilege there. And Count Binface, being that jester, is not telling them any home truths that they need to hear. So there's no point. This is just a farce. According to GB Politics, by the way, Nigel Farage has left Makerfield But Reform are still saying that Nigel Farage is still in Makerfield. In fact, it's weird, isn't it, that we haven't seen Nigel Farage on any of these shows. Let's see what we've got going on GB News. And where's the BBC one? Yeah, we know that he's confident we'll get more than 2%. Okay, nothing exciting there. There's the BBC
Used to sit alongside each other.
So.
Actually, did he?
So we are closing the gap, and you're saying Bexley and Bromley, which are on the border of Kent.
Conservatives coping and seething, understood. I mean, to be fair, they've had a successful night on 32% of the vote. Indica says, if we do not sacrifice our own ease, our own comfort to make the future world a better one, then we curse our own children, we leave them a misery they do not deserve, we leave them a host of lessened and unlearned. Malazan, Birth of the BOTF? I don't know what that is. But yeah, I mean, that's completely fair and completely true, which is why I'm currently up at 1:30 at night. I don't particularly want to be up at 1:30 at night, but you know, I knew I'd start getting tired. Yeah, but Farage is definitely, yeah, I think he probably has. And the thing is, the other day, there was some insider who had tweeted something like, I spoke to someone privately and Reform have just given up on Makerfield. They don't think they can win it. And so, bad luck, basically. See what else we got.
He's in the eating. You show me the budgets we've set.
Okay, Angela started playing charades in the middle of these two.
It's the most sensible thing to do at that point.
We will say goodbye to you, Angela Smith. Thank you very much indeed for your time in the first part of our programme. Good to have you with us as always. And we'll, miraculously, in a moment, you'll be replaced by Home Office Minister Mike Tapp. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Sarah Olney, you were chuckling away there, I could hear. While the Conservatives and Reform were tangling. Let's just think about the overall political picture here. If Andy Burnham is on his way,
blah, boo-hoo, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's just get to...
No, he's never not... he's Labour through and through. I mean, everybody knows what he stands for and his values are. He's the Labour mayor of Greater Manchester, and he was fighting a very local campaign.
I hate this woman.
He's from Makerfield, and it's really important.
She is so insufferable. This is Baroness Thangham Debonair. She's a Labour failure who's got elevated to the House of Lords. But Sarah Poaching may say something funny.
But how much of this is about communication? You know, I'm going to put aside for the moment that the accusation that Keir Starmer doesn't have an ideology and actually doesn't have policies that people understand. But Andy Burnham is known as a good communicator. Nigel Farage is known as a good communicator. You know, getting a message across, whatever that is, how important is that in politics?
It's incredibly important that in a party, if government in particular, but you know, any political party, there need to be great communicators who can tell a great story, paint a picture, show people what the hope looks like. What is it going to mean for them? And it doesn't always have to be the leader of the party. Sometimes it can be different people. I mean, in Australia, in different countries around the world where we've got left parties in government, it isn't always the Prime Minister who's the big communicator, but there can still be a great Prime Minister. Now, Andy, that's why Andy, if he wins tonight, is going to be a great asset no matter what happens, because he is undeniably a terrific communicator and a great painter of stories of hope.
Yeah, any vote share in double digits is a massive win. Correct.
And the problem for Reform is that Nigel Farage is such a good communicator, he seemed like a one-man band.
Correct.
So, you know, how important is it to remind people that that is not the case while embracing his ability to communicate to people?
Well, I'd pick up on the point about Nigel being such a good communicator, and the big thing about Nigel, I would say, is he's never changed his story. Nigel has always stuck to his guns on what he believes in, unlike Andy Burnham, who, if he would...
Well, I mean, he hasn't, has he? He stuck to his guns, being like, we can't alienate Islam or do mass deportations, and I don't care about demographic change in Britain. And now he's reversed on all of those things because Rupert Lowe dragged him to the right, whether he wanted to be there or not. Like, come on.
Nothing about the welfare bill. So I'm afraid I think that your dream of restoring this country is absolutely for the birds.
Yeah, I mean, Thangham's almost rolling her eyes as you list the things he will do. You do not know that. That is the problem, I guess, if there is not a contest.
He's been very clear.
You don't stress test people about what their policies are. And that is the problem for the British people if they delivered yet again another Prime Minister that they did not vote for.
I mean, that's the case in every election, though, isn't it? That you people who take on the job of Prime Minister...
Don't you? You get a manifesto that's signed off by the party leader. Yeah, but it would be signed off by a different party leader.
It's a party manifesto that Andy actually campaigned on. I saw him on the campaign trail during the 24 general election, and I think it's one that Andy believes in. But actually showing how we can do that.
A troubling thing I've begun to notice is leftist parties running backbenchers with little or no track records and running vague campaigns. Is this something you noticed as well? Well, yeah, there is a lot of that. I mean, that's what Hannah the Plumber was in Gordon and Denton. But at the end of the day, I think the problem that they have is just very poor intake, right? The people in these parties, the parties themselves, are self-selecting for yes men, and that makes them retards, basically. And so the sort of like elite politicians that we had back in like the 70s or 80s or whatever, when you see them talking and debating, these are educated people who actually have thoughts. And now we just have yes women, I guess. And it's just like, okay, great. It's just it's just not what I want, you know. Sarah Pochin earlier said, the party will be very happy if they come a strong second. That's weak. That's so fucking weak. So weak. Should have been coming first. Like 65% Brexit voting, 97% white British, and you couldn't beat Andy Burnham. That's tragic. Genuinely tragic. Like, I am not at all impressed with Reform's ground game or their campaigning anyway, right? The thing with Reform is they campaign like they are owed it. Hello, we've turned up. You're welcome, peasants. You can now vote for us, and we're not Labour. And Andy Burnham had a much more humble presence than Reform. Reform had this kind of attitude of, we're here now. Aren't you lucky? And they didn't do the work. You know, they didn't put boots on the ground. They didn't actually sell something. Again, I don't even know what the pitch for Reform in Makerfield was. It's just constant, stop Andy Burnham, stop Andy Burnham. Why? You were just saying get Starmer out. He's the guy who's actually capable of getting Starmer out, possibly. So why would I want to? Not only is your own messaging shit, but it's just entirely negative. Like, what are you going to do? What is it you want to do? And I'm still, like, just like in Gordon and Denton, where, like, Matt Goodwin was Alan Partridging it around. Like, what was it? We'd get Keir Starmer out. It's like, that's not a message, man. Like, Andy Burnham has at least got a story. He's like, I'm going to save the Labour Party. Now, I don't want him to save the Labour Party, but I bet about a third of Makerfield does. Maybe it's like, 40% of Makerfield, because they're old Labour Party town. They're actually like, yeah, this is something that I'd want. We're Reform knocking on doors, going, look, we're going to deport millions, right? We're going to keep, all those foreign men who are on the high street causing trouble, harassing women. We're going to deport them. We are just going to pick them up off the street and send them back to wherever they've come from on day one. Like, you could have been running around going, look, that's what we're going to do. Just that's what we're going to do. We're going to fix your town by doing this. And so it's just like, what was your pitch? What was your pitch? I didn't see one. Right, I saw the Restore one. The Restore one was literally that. Protect women and girls by deporting all these men. Like, you've got like, Reform's campaigning is terrible. Genuinely terrible. Let's go back to the BBC, see what they're doing.
will not be challenging in the immediate aftermath of the by-election. Should he be successful here in Makerfield, he'll want to speak to the Prime Minister, I'm sure, and that will be up for them to hopefully decide a way forward.
But that way forward for the country, I mean, when you say considered and orderly, what do you mean? Are you suggesting a matter of weeks? Are you suggesting a matter of months or 6 months? Because, you know, to an...
Why is it just po-faced women on every channel? I'm going to have to... Look, it's just non-stop. I'm going to have to go back to Sky News just to get that fat guy who interviewed... Oh no, look, another po-faced woman. Is there a single channel where there isn't a po-faced woman lecturing me about how fucking bad the... Well, I don't know. I'm not even listening to them. Fucking hell. I mean, like, this stream was completely unprompted, right? I really didn't think I was going to do this. And we've got 6,000 people watching. Dan Wootton's been planning his for ages, and he had like 12,000 people watching earlier. Like, why is it just... But on the main stream, it's just these grumpy-looking fucking women. Oh, she had a smile there. That's nice. Let's watch this.
That if they vote for Andy Burnham, that actually there is going to be a challenge to
Grumpy
the
women.
Labour leadership. So it's been quite difficult, and I know that he's tried very...
The dethroning of the straight white male.
He's tried very...
Bring back Count Binface. At least I know he's a straight white man. Holy shit. Guys, what other streams are there? I don't like ITV. Who's on ITV? Are they live? No, GB News, Sky News. Sorry, watching you loads of these has really opened my eyes to politics. Attend my first Restore branch meeting the other day. Thanks for what you do. Well, thank you so much, man. We've all got to pitch in. We've just got to do it. Right? We've just got to do it. As you can see, Rupert Lowe is not backing down on anything. So we just have to get cracking. Let me see what else I can find for any other feeds. Maybe the Sky News one. Filter by live, I'm sure. Can I? Apparently I can't. Okay, don't worry about that then, YouTube. Wigan's data center hasn't been easy on these hosts. Yeah, I know, it's rough, isn't it? Like, can I just have a channel without grumpy looking
I was
women?
already pretty tired before we came into this, so I could do with a quick sleep.
Okay, all right. Well, if it's an hour, that's not too long, and you've got time to go off and grab what's
Fingers
probably
crossed.
another coffee. Lou Haig, thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Cheers, Zora.
And I can introduce, we are now joined by Mike Tapp, who is a Home Office Minister.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I don't need to hear from Mike Tapp again. So here's the Manchester Evening News. They don't even have a host. I guess we'll just leave that there. Just for a bit of background noise. Yeah, no, this will be done in an hour or two. I'm going to try and stay up for it. I might go and get a tea in a second. But, right, okay. Look, I'm just looking for, like, Makerfield by-election. What live feeds do we have? Very few. Kind of all the Backstreet Boys of the right wing, like the Lotus Eaters. Yeah, I know, right? With the most handsome podcast on the air. Taps is pretty much a woman. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I guess we've got a man, but like I just don't want to listen to him toe the party line. Oh, we got Tom Harwood, brilliant. Do we want to? Speaking of people who are basically women, do we want to listen to Tom Harwood? Let's see.
Did 6 different constituencies in this country, from Scotland to Essex to wherever else it was. Have we gone too local?
I think what people are looking for isn't necessarily a local candidate. That's often the way that this presents itself. They're looking for someone who feels authentic, who feels like someone they can get behind, someone they can believe in. I think Andy does a very good job of...
Okay. You know, all right. I see the sports commentators, all the time, going, I'm sick of women commentators in sports. Sick of it. Sick of seeing it. I'm starting to understand what they mean. Like, it's not that, like, I don't ever want to hear these women talking or anything like that. But, like, it's all women or a gay man, Mike Tabb and Tom Harwood. And it's like, look, I actually think we need to revisit that conversation about straight white men and representation. Right? I want some straight white men talking about politics. That's what I want. Should we just get a Dan Wootton stream? He's not a straight white man, but he's got a straight white man on there. I would have thought there'd be more streams about this, to be honest. Oh, Lewis Goodall's overnight. Right, okay. All right, okay.
And that eviscerating speech.
Well, he's a man, right?
My old friend John Healey was pretty disastrous for the Labour Party and the Labour brand.
Okay. I don't ever want to hear from Nadeem Zahawi. Again, one of the reasons I would never vote reform, like architect of the lockdowns, the vaccine mandates, and all this. Like, why would you have Nadeem Zahawi? Honestly, I just don't know why you'd take him in.
Table does what we're seeing with the Labour Party. I'm sure you probably have a little bit of Schadenfreude with it because Labour were very pious about it at the time. Does it remind you of those days? And what does it say about British politics that Labour so quickly has basically been afflicted by exactly those same...
Oh, God. Oh, we got a straight one, man.
The full debate that happened there, but it's absolutely
He's
the
a
case
Labour
that
man.
immigration is an important issue that people want to talk about, alongside all of the other issues, including the cost of living, the state of public services, and the many other things that are affecting people after 14 years of Conservative government.
Tell us where you are in terms of your hopes for tonight and what happens with Andy Burnham and what might follow should he win this constituency.
I think it's been a really positive campaign. I would say that, first of all. Andy's ran a
He is right. Andy Burnham actually did run a positive campaign. Unlike Reform, who once again ran a negative campaign. Labour confidence growing after high turnout. Labour sources believe the high turnout in Makerfield is good for them. Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we? Again, we don't know anything yet. We don't. For anyone wondering, we haven't got any results yet. I'm sure we will. But people in Labour circles certainly seem chipper. Well, good for them. Not much of an update on the BBC, though. Although, Stephen Flynn, right? So the this SNP guy, he is such an insufferable woke-tard, right? He is so phenomenally confident that woke, globalist, open borders, anti-white nonsense is morally correct. He sits down like questions and browbeats people. No. And it's like, listen, man, I don't know where to begin but by telling you just how much I disagree with absolutely everything you believe. Like, I think everything you believe is a moral abomination, and you yourself are an abominable person for believing them and advocating them. And so watching him like puff out his chest and be like, no, this is the woke consensus from 2015 and I believe it. Like, who cares? No one else does. Like, it's full of shit, mate. All right, nothing. Oh, come on. God, it's slow. Well, back to the Manchester Evening News. Tom, something happened, Harwood. Yes, that Tom Harwood. Yes. Yeah, I know. I'm an old man. It's past my bloody bedtime too. But I want these goddamn results. I need to get another tea. Okay, chat. Pick your poison. BBC, Laura Kusenberg's delightful face, GB News, or Sky News. Pick, because I'm going to go grab a tea. Aaron Bastani's on the scene, is he? Oh, good, my chat's died. How do I refresh? Don't know how I refresh it. Oh, my fucking YouTube back end's dying now.
Hold. What
that gap will be the interesting part of this. But of course, a by-election is always, you're going to get a low turnout, but this one was especially low. I mean, we were watching some of the boxes coming
this is
in
in
here,
Aberdeen.
Tom,
Right,
and
okay. Yeah, the Aberdeen one, like 32% or whatever it was. That is abominable.
That means for how that translates into votes for various parties. So, you know, I think this question always a central factor in Scottish politics. But I'm not going to spend any more time on it, Laura, because I think that we've got some results coming in fairly quickly. So, you know, we'll find out whether or not the constitutional question's really having much of an impact.
Alex, thank you. And there, look, the candidates assembling on the stage. And we are, therefore, the pictures can tell you that we are approaching our first declaration. Let's listen in.
Aberdeen South constituency. Electorate 76,033. Total votes cast 28,950. The percentage of poll 38.08%.
Right, so there's more than they
Scott,
said
returning
earlier.
officer for the UK parliamentary election in the Aberdeen South constituency, hereby
all
give
women.
notice that the total number of votes polled for each candidate at the election was as follows. Nurul Hoke Ali, 1,550. David Ballantyne, the Alliance for Democracy and Freedom ADF, 59. UK Heart, Reformed UK, 2,478. Douglas Lumsden, Scottish Conservative and Unionist, 14,000. George Shelston Eckstein, votes Scottish Greens, Let's Demand Better, 974. Mel Sullivan, Scottish Liberal Democrats, 1,270. Richard Gordon Thompson, Scottish National Party, 8,258. Ballot papers rejected, 53. And total vote.
Yeah, Reform lost that one too. But honestly, I am always happy to see the SNP lose. Okay, Conservatives, I don't know anything about the Scottish Conservatives. No idea what they're like. But they seem happy, don't they? That's nice. Good for them. It's nice to see the SNP lose too. Right, I'm going to go get my tea. I'll be back in a second.
First by-election win in Scotland since the 1970s. So a delighted Douglas Ramsden there, the Conservative winning that seat with a majority of about 14,000 votes, well ahead of the SNP at just under 8,500. So not just any old win for the Conservatives there. They didn't sneak it. They convincingly won, taking the seat of Aberdeen South. And let's just briefly listen in to the victorious candidate there, Douglas Lumsden.
I'm pleased for a smooth election. I was going to say today, but it was actually yesterday. And to my friends, supporters and volunteers, we did it. And the people of Aberdeen have spoken loud and clear. We stopped the SNP and we sent Labour the message that the destruction of the North Sea oil and gas industry must stop now. And to everyone in Aberdeen that put their trust in me, thank you. I share your anger, I share your frustration, and I share your fears for the future. And I promise that I will be a strong voice for this city, standing up for you, your families, and your livelihoods against short-sighted policies. Now, we said at the start of this campaign that it is a referendum on the oil and gas industry, and the people of Aberdeen have gave a resounding answer that we back the oil and gas industry. And I'm lucky enough to have not just one leader, but two fantastic leaders in Russell Finlay and Kemi Badenoch. I have received a huge amount of support.
So an absolutely delighted candidate there. Douglas Lumsden becomes another Conservative MP to join his colleagues in the House of Commons, but makes history as the first Conservative by-election gain in Scotland since the 1960s. Alex, this is a significant political moment, without question.
It's a huge political moment. Like you say, the Conservatives haven't been winning seats like this in Scotland for decades. So this is really a significant moment. And I think what is interesting about this is that we know, and you heard it there in Douglas Lumsden's victory speech, that the Conservatives tried to make this a bit of a referendum on North Sea oil and gas and whether there should or shouldn't be more drilling beyond what is already happening at the moment. And, you know, there's a fascinating political context to this, which is that if you think back to not so long ago, there was pretty much a political consensus around net zero. So all the parties supported the notion you had to get to net zero by a certain date. The Conservatives
They passed the law.
even put that in law. Exactly right. And since then, things have really started to shift. You know, we've had Kemi Badenoch, Conservative Party leader, ditching that 2050 net zero target. You have Reform UK calling it, in their words, net stupid zero. So, you know, I think what this is going to do is potentially supercharge that debate around energy. And of course, on top of all that, what we've had is the impact of the war in Iran, which is all the worry that people have about the impact on energy prices. And we saw the shift in the SNP that said energy security has to be a factor. So yeah, a huge significant win for the Conservatives. But given how much the Conservative Party has put the oil and gas at the forefront of this by-election, you wonder if that's just going to kind of add fuel, excuse the pun, Laura, to the political discussion around oil and gas in particular.
Maybe it will give it more impetus to the Conservatives to go with it on a national level. You were just showing you the breakdown of the figures there. The Conservative Douglas Lumsden, who's already an MSP actually, but now becomes an MP with well over 14,000. You can see there the SNP way down on 8,000. So in the end, it wasn't close at all, but both well ahead of Reform and the Labour Party. So Labour dropping way back there too. Well, Kevin Hollingrake, you were right. You had good intelligence. So everybody watching should pay more attention to your whispers. But you can see the share there for the Conservatives, I think tipping 50%.
Yeah.
That is really quite a victory.
Yeah, I mean, that's... it's a massive win for us. You know, we've been through a difficult time. There's no question about it. Everybody knows that. But I think people like Kemi. I mean, talking about oil and gas, Kemi's been consistent on this. One of the people who stood up in the debate back in 2019 and said, is this really a good idea? Can we actually deliver this? So I think she's been very consistent on it. But so I think this is about oil and gas, but also about Kemi's credibility and you know, her favourability did come up on the doorstep. But it's not often Conservative leaders are very popular in Scotland. So I think this shows that Kemi's leadership of the party is taking a new direction, and also bringing in people like Ruth Davidson, who heavily supported Douglas's campaign.
It's worth saying, though, he had been an MSP for the North East region since 2021. He was a former co-leader of Aberdeen Council, so he has extensive
very good and ex-oil and gas industry
connections,
real-world experience, which many of our candidates have. So a really good candidate, a really good campaign, fantastic volunteer effort. But and it really struck a chord with the people of Aberdeen South.
OK, let's ask Professor Sir John Curtis then. John, this is a big result for the Conservatives without question. How would you frame its significance?
Well, I think its significance is almost undoubtedly going to lie in the fact that the Conservatives focus very much on the question of oil and gas. And much as we're anticipating in Makerfield, in so doing, has produced a result that is in stark contrast in what happened locally just a few weeks ago, in this case in the Scottish Parliament election on May the 7th. There was no sign in the two Scottish Parliament constituencies that form part of the Aberdeen South Westminster constituency, that's Aberdeen Deeside and Aberdeen Central, of the Conservatives doing particularly well. Their vote was falling away very heavily, as it was elsewhere in Scotland. Indeed, on May the 7th, the Conservatives recorded their worst ever result in Scotland, with the one exception of the 2019 European Parliament election. I think also we should note, although the SNP votes down...
Are they still waffling about Aberdeen? Sorry, lads. Did I miss anything? How real is the risk of rigged elections? Not very real, in my opinion. I mean, as you can see, like, we've got cameras and like, there are hundreds of people in the room, and there's a group of people from each party that are essentially deputised to allow to wander around. You would have to have an area that was significantly diversified for that not to be the case, I think. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried about it. Oh, sorry, and ladies. Sorry, I apologise. LBC. Ah, is it? Rupert interview on LBC. Look at that. Oh, it's Lewis Goodall's one. Do I have that around? Where is that? Doesn't appear to be. Chat, are you misleading me? What says LBC?
Good giving people employment rights if they don't have a job, that the Labour agenda, Ed Miliband's agenda, to pursue every possible green policy he can.
Trust me, my chair did not cost £4,000. This chair is probably about £300 on Amazon. Before Zahawi. Oh, right, okay. Okay, let's get to it.
So in the local elections, which we swept the board in Norfolk and the county council elections, we won the borough council by-election there. And we had people, probably 500 people came to that campaign. Last Saturday here, we had probably 1,200 people came from all over the country and the world. We even had people from Hong Kong. So I think the British people are stirring. I think they've had enough of the failure that they've seen in both government and the civil service. And sitting on the Public Accounts Committee, which I do now, I see quite how weak the civil service is, how they are serving themselves, not the public, which is what they're supposed to be doing, how they're wasting vast amounts of taxpayers' money, which means that hardworking people have to pay far more tax unnecessarily because there's a lot of waste, there's a lot of misappropriation, there's a lot of things that could be done a lot better, and there are far too many people employed in government. So look, I think we're resonating with what people think they want. And in Parliament, I stand up and I speak, and I try and speak the truth. As you probably know, I'm not in this for money. I give my parliamentary salary to charity each month. Charities in Great Yarmouth usually, but elsewhere if I think that's where it's best served. So I think we need more sort of what I call vocational politicians who basically want to change the way in which things operate, because Britain's going badly wrong. I think everybody can see that. Labour has done untold damage in the last 2 years. The front bench, most of them have no business experience, they have no life experience, they have no understanding of the consequences of the legislation they're passing. They're raising taxes all the time, particularly taxes on jobs with the increase in national insurance, and they're just damaging the real economy. They have no idea of the consequences of what they're doing. So I think the British people can see that, and they're getting increasingly frustrated by it.
And obviously your party, 5%, 7%, say
well,
some
whatever we
polls.
get, tonight is the poll. Tonight is the poll.
What would be a good result for you tonight?
Well, we came into this thinking that sort of 10% would be a great result. I mean, we're a new party. We're less than 4 months old. I think we were told we'd get 2%. In Great Yarmouth in Norfolk, we were told we'd get 1%, less than 1%. We ended up, you could have halved all our votes and we still have won.
So under reported.
Now look, I mean, a national election is a different thing to county council elections, where I'm the local MP in Great Yarmouth. Everyone knows me, and they've seen what we've done in Great Yarmouth. They've seen that my office there is doing its best to help people. So I think it was easier in a regional election. This is a national election from a party that's 4 months old.
And how would you
so
feel
if we get anywhere near 10%, I think that is the news of the night.
If you did get 10%, that would be enough to deny reform to win, and
I don't know.
Andy Burnham win this seat. How would you feel if that happened?
I don't know what the outcome's going to be, and I don't subscribe to this.
Would you be happy though?
I don't subscribe to this
if your party let Andy Burnham win?
Well, hang on. Let me answer your question. You're a bit hasty with your questions. So what I'm saying is reform don't own any votes, nor does anybody. In a democratic election, you say what you're going to do and you let people choose whether they want to vote for you. Nobody owns the votes. And if Andy Burnham wins tonight, credit to him, it's a democratic election. You have to give him credit.
Of course.
Now, whether or not he wins by a margin bigger or less than the margin of votes we get is not the issue. The issue is this is a democratic election and everyone has the right to stand. So if Nigel Farage hadn't politically tried to assassinate me, I probably would still be within reform. So why don't you ask him?
So it's his problem.
Why did he do that?
Yes, it is his problem.
It wasn't necessary. It wasn't expected. I certainly wasn't expecting it. And
so it's not that people agree these questions in advance, right? It's that they're all actually quite low IQ people whose mindset is completely informed by their Twitter feed. And if they saw someone else ask, they're like, right, okay, program. They don't have questions of their own. Unlike my chat that is desperate to know the origin of my chair, right? It is on Amazon because obviously I want Jeff Bezos to have his 7th yacht. This chair is called a base TBL gaming chair, big, tall, heavy duty office chair, and it cost me £209. It's currently out of stock, so you can't get it. But I went back and went through my order details and found that it cost £209. So there we go. I told you it's not $4,000. I mean, Jesus Christ, I would never spend $4,000 on anything, let alone a fucking chair. Yeah, we can hear from the chair again.
So what he did was that, in the end, being politically driven as I am to change the way we're governed, I've now set up my own party, and I think you need to ask him why he did what he did, rather than asking me why I think it's right for me to effectively stand aside and let them win, which I'm never going to do. And it doesn't matter whether it's Reform or Labour. You know, I'm standing to win and to serve the people better. The British people deserve better government than they've had in the recent past.
And where's your candidate? Where's Rebecca? We haven't seen her at all this
She's on her way here. She's on her way.
We'd love to speak
She's on her way,
to her.
so you will see her.
We'd love to hear her voice because we've not heard her.
You will see her. Well, you'll have to ask her if she wants to talk to you. She's free, white and 21. She can talk to anyone she wants to. I'm not going to tell her who she can talk to.
Well, absolutely. LBC would love to speak to her whenever. But it does feel like she's been hidden away a bit in this campaign. Would you agree?
No, I don't agree. We weren't invited on to Question Time.
Wow.
And she spent her time campaigning locally
She was invited
amongst the people who are going to vote for her. And she's done a tremendously good job.
And what do you think of the issues?
And by the way, she's very brave to stand up and to put herself forward to represent the people of this constituency.
What do you think of the issues for Makerfield, the main things that you're hearing about on the doorstep that people actually want to see change on?
Well, people are worried about immigration. That's the biggest issue for the country, as we all know. Untargeted immigration, illegal people coming here illegally, people living here illegally, people not being sent home when they're not supposed to be here. Illegal means illegal, and I've made that quite clear. If you read our mass deportation document, which is quite long, if you've got the willpower to read it.
I love how he's rubbing in their faces. If you've got the attention span to read a document, which I don't think you do because you're a fucking journalist. I'm enjoying that. Like, this is the thing. Farage just never had contempt for the journalists. You have to have contempt for them. And he does a great job of playing their game because he's not insulting them directly, but he clearly is not impressed with them at all. But you are right. In the chat, I saw someone saying Lowe's coming across very smooth here. He is. He's not an amateur in this. Not an amateur. And yeah, I know it's very predictable that all the commentators are winning because it's the thing. LBC refused to talk to her. Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, he gave the right answer. What difference does it make if you speak to her? What matters is if the people of Makerfield speak to her, and clearly they did, and they have done. So, what difference does it make?
A bit like the rape gang inquiry, which we've just produced, which you should all read, because that's very germane to this election, and that basically is full of the failures of the Labour Party. But if people, as they appear to have done tonight, continue to support the Labour Party, they're going to get more of the same.
And finally, can I just ask, we're hearing high turnout today. Do you think that helps you and the Restore Party, people that may not have come out to vote before at all?
In Norfolk, we saw people coming to vote who hadn't voted for a long time because they could see that we are a genuine alternative to the rather stale politics that has come to be the hallmark of Westminster. So I think if we get a high turnout, that will work to our advantage, yes. And we're bringing people, so it's not about just splitting the vote, it's about enthusing people. As you probably know, the last election was won on a 59% turnout. And Starmer won it on, I think, 34% of that turnout. So he won it on a very, I call it a landslip election victory, not a landslide, a landslip, because it was on a very thin margin. And really...
Well, who split the vote?
I'm hoping people will come back to vote. People will have belief in politics again, but they're not.
Yeah, Rupert sounds like a PM, doesn't he? Exactly. He's got that kind of Trumpian attitude about him, where he's self-assured in that he knows he's doing the right thing.
Not going to do it if they're continually let down by the people in Westminster who aren't serving the people but are serving themselves.
So that was our own Natasha Clark speaking to Restore's Rupert Lowe there, and it'll be very interesting to see, of course, how well they've done, how much of it was real, how much of it is a bit of an internet phenomenon. Always hard to tell with Restore. It's certainly how they started anyway. Also, before we go to the news, Stephen Flynn, who was the MP for Aberdeen South, stood down to become an MSP, a member of the Scottish Parliament, is now the Economy Minister in Scotland. He's tweeted, again, as we've been reporting, conceding defeat effectively in Aberdeen South. A tough night in Aberdeen that some will need to reflect on quite heavily. Commiserations to my good friend, the candidate, a great man and colleague. We lost Aberdeen South to the Tories in 2017 and we won it back 2 years later. I've no doubt we can do so again if we get things right. Intriguing.
Amandine's like, Carl looks sleepy. Yeah, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, right? I try to be in bed before 11 o'clock every night. So I am 3 hours past my bedtime. I'm well aware that I'm going to get woken up at 7 o'clock on the dot by my kids running around and screaming at each other. So looking forward to that.
Checker and so on. But before that, at 1:32, let's take a breather now. Get the latest LBC News headlines with Daryl Jackson.
Lewis Goodall's
the counting process is underway in a by-election which could decide the future of the...
Right, okay, let's move on. Back to Sky.
Not wanting a fight. They know that they have quite a lot of cards at their disposal if Keir Starmer stays put, if Keir Starmer tries not to fight. So we've got an incredibly intense few days of politics, which clearly, from your interview with Louise...
So it looks like, just judging from the room, there are a lot of them that have done their counting, right? It's less frenzied than it was earlier. So fingers crossed we're going to get the results shortly. Because, my God, I want to go to bed. I feel like I'm committed now, so I have to see it out. But, man, give me the fucking result. Let's go back to Sky.
The result here, we're being told, is within the hour or in around an hour's time. So stay tuned for that. But Louise Haig's certainly telling me that they think Andy Burnham has won well here, which triggers, as you suggested, so much change potentially in Westminster. This is not the only by-election, though, is it, Sam? Let's talk about Scotland, an extraordinary result.
All right, let's not talk about Scotland. It's not that exciting. Go on, Lewis.
Essentially down, collapse really, down 19 percentage points. Conservative up 25 percentage points.
He's talking about Scotland as well. See, they've only got one thing to talk about at the moment, so it's not terribly exciting. But yeah, another by-election that Reform couldn't win.
My goodness, the SNP were holding this seat, but tonight, in a major shock result that will be a very big boost to the arm of Kemi Badenoch, the Tories have won.
Yeah, how is it that Reform are not winning these fucking elections? Oh, we've been top of the polls in 200 polls. Yeah, but is it just a mirage? Is it just in the abstract? People are like, would you like to vote for Nigel Farage? Yeah, as a protest. But when it actually comes to the rubber meeting the road and the actual election happens, why aren't you winning any of these? Like, all you've got are your, like, legacy Tory MPs. You're not gaining any new MPs. That's really weird, isn't it? For the sort of insurgent party that should be winning. If I were Reform, I'd be like, guys, why the fuck aren't we winning this? Like, you tell me. I had to laugh when I saw the look in your face when you see the announcement another hour for the result. Yeah, well, you know, I'm an old man now. I'm a dad. I have to be in bed at responsible time. So, I mean, I was working from home tomorrow, but now I'm going to be sleeping. But anyway, yeah. So, why is Reform losing? I mean, Reform didn't win London because of the Conservatives. Didn't win Gorton and Denton because of the Greens. Probably isn't going to win Makerfield because of Andy Burnham. What is the point of your fucking party? How are you losing all of this?
6,000 majority now in Scotland. I think it's the first time the Tories have taken a seat in Scotland in over 60 or so years. A majority of 21% against the SNP. Look at that margin by which the Tories won. You can see all the other parties squeeze. So what this tells us is that people who might have voted, I think, Reform or Labour or Lib Dem.
Okay, here's something interesting from The Guardian. Burnham ally Louise Hay says Starmer should agree to an orderly and managed transition of power. I mean, she's speaking his language, right? Starmer should reflect on the results and how much they were better with Burnham as a candidate than they were for Labour in the local elections and do what's best for the party. And that's true. Burnham is going to improve Labour's fortunes, but I don't think he's going to save them. I mean, this is like, there are so many constituencies where Andy Burnham, like outside of the Manchester area, I mean, like, there's just no way he's... I just don't think Andy Burnham is a big draw outside of Manchester. And already his approval rating's been going down. So it's just like, yeah, okay. No, we're just sick of Labour. We're just sick of Labour.
SNP.
Interesting LLM output. Multiple reports at the count centre indicate the main party votes have largely been counted and the result is no longer considered in doubt. Okay. Where the fuck are they getting that from? See if the BBC are moving.
Him could go up, into the high hundreds. I think that the dream for and any Andy Burnham supporter would be for him to be able to say, look here, I've got 200 or more Labour MPs backing me. There is no way you can fight this. Do the dignified thing. As you were saying, we don't even have the result yet. So we're a million miles off that. I don't think that there are 200 Labour MPs on that spreadsheet already, but I think that there's a hope that if he wins decisively, the rest will come on board.
And Alva, in terms though of the potential sort of cabinet positions here, because it's not just about backbenchers, it's also about what the cabinet is expected to do. There's also been reporting, I'm sure you've had some of the same conversations that I've had, about whether or not cabinet ministers, if there is an excellent result for Burnham, come together, go to...
So with mounting failures, will Farage quit as leader? That's the question, isn't it? Whether RL says Burnham did fuck all in late. Yeah, well, yeah. Counting the votes in a single night is normal in Britain. California is obviously a hotbed of cheating. They're not. If they take like months to count the vote, they're cheating. They're fucking cheating. No, I don't think we'll restore a win. Like I said at the beginning, I think we'll come third. But what we want is double digits in the results. So we're severely outpacing the polling. That's what we're looking for here. If Farage leaves, what's the point of reform? Well, there isn't one. That's the thing. But if reform can't beat the Greens, the Conservatives, or Labour, what's the point of reform anyway? Like, the question is constantly asked for. So, it's one of those things where it's just like, they are failing at the game they're supposed to, that they were so confident that they'd be winning at. And it's literally, as you say, mounting failures. Can't be a pleasant drive back to Millbank Tower or whatever it is.
They all land. I think, we didn't really see John Healey's resignation coming last week. So I think you could just be surprised by the action.
A change of PM should trigger a general election. Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Like, we don't actually vote for prime ministers, so... And, like, there's a general fatigue of the constant elections. We've just been through that, to be honest. I'm tired of it. Everyone's tired of it. Looks like you and Dan have won, looking at the live numbers. Yeah. And this, for me, this is just completely ad hoc. But yeah, Dan's, he's got like 8,000 people watching. I've got 6,000 people watching. That's good. GB News say results imminent. Oh. Let's. We've got Sarah poaching again.
All
likely to be the fact that Labour voters here probably clearly recognise the Burnham name and possibly are prepared to give Labour just one last chance with a different Prime Minister, because the message that came out loud and clear from every doorstep was that everybody wants Starmer out. So I do wonder if the traditional Labour voter thinks one last chance to see if this government can stand up for the British people under Andy Burnham.
No outcome yet.
Well, Andy Burnham has sort of nicked your line unofficially, which was vote reform, get Starmer out. But that's what effectively Andy Burnham said.
Politics UK are saying Labour sources believe Andy Burnham has secured 54% of the vote in Makerfield. No fucking way. That would be really fucking surprising. That'd be incredible, to be honest.
That must have come up on the doorstep, surely.
Do you know, actually, it didn't, in the doors I knocked on, it didn't come up on the doorstep. The issues that come up on the doorstep are immigration, and and it's because people feel that they're being treated so unfairly that they don't see why that they're not getting there's housing lists with local people on them when illegal immigrants are coming in and taking those houses. Those sort of issues do come up on the doorstep because the cost of living, actually, people feel that in terms of the money in their pocket, and if they think the money in their pocket is being spent on people that aren't British citizens, that don't deserve our system, that don't deserve free housing, that is actually what they get very passionate about, and it is linked to the cost of living. And of course, Andy Burnham, as we know, will come in and advocate for open borders. So I feel for the people of Makerfield, because even if they do think that under Andy Burnham's premiership, which of course we don't know yet whether that's going to happen, if they think that suddenly everything's going to be all right, well, they're going to be in for a shock, because Andy Burnham stands for increased taxation, unfettered immigration, and taking us back into Europe. And that, in the deal that the European Union have suggested, means that we lose the pound and gain the euro. The British people will be up in arms about that.
Well, Michel Barnier has said tonight that he thinks the EU would be open to us going back on the same terms, keeping the pound, not being in Schengen. Also, Shabana Mahmood's immigration reforms would be quite tough if they come through, and Andy Burnham has rode back on those.
Okay, apparently no, not imminent enough. Oh, there's James Cleverly.
To deliver and continue delivery.
Oh no, it's Mike Tapp.
We can't deny that, but you get them back on side by delivery. In my view, is delivery comes through stability.
But what do you say then to your colleagues? What do you say to Lou Hay
tonight?
No,
God, I say let's move on. All right, okay. Looks like that one's off. Come on, just give me the fucking results so I can go to bed. Motherfucker. Like, if there's, I can't believe it, 54%. That'd be a hell of a win. I mean, in Andy Burnham's defense, he ran a positive campaign, he ran a humble campaign, and he campaigned hard. He was out there every day, just like the Restore guys were. Frankly, like the Reform guys weren't. So, in his defense, if he does get 54%, he earned it. Yeah, I'll mute that. That's it. Right, let's see what's going on.
Does he have a chance of fighting back?
Well, he has the constitutional right to fight back. He's automatically on the ballot as Labour leader if he wants to stand. He certainly doesn't want a contest. He's willing to fight one properly. As you say, on the front page of tomorrow's Times, today's Times now, it's Friday, I have that story about 6 figures in donations he's got pledged. His team is sounding out staff to work on that campaign. Will it ever get off the ground, though? I just think the entire Labour Party, bar about 10 people in the Parliamentary Labour Party, whether they like Andy Burnham or not, whether they really believe in him or not, will see the way he is about to win tonight and think, that's a train I want to be on, even if I'm a little late to the station.
What do you think might happen over the weekend? Ministers being sacked, ministers calling for the PM to go, ministers resigning. What do you think might happen over the weekend?
Well, I suspect the one thing Team Burnham, the people I've been speaking to tonight, don't want to happen, which is a messy tit-for-tat escalation, will happen. Not because of any of the Burnham confidants and spinners and allies who are here, because there's going to be a lot of pumped-up people in the Labour Party tomorrow who want a fight, who want this to be over on both sides. And the risk of escalation when people are tired, when people are pumped up, is always high. And I suspect someone's going to cross a line and we're going to get a retaliatory strike from somebody.
Do you think there'll be other candidates, Wes Streeting or Al Carnes, or have they not got the numbers?
No, to both. Look, that's the short answer. Wes Streeting's best hope now is to row in behind Andy Burnham. There is not going to be an extended leadership contest if Keir Starmer doesn't dig his heels in. And if he does dig his heels in, I think it's going to be a disastrous summer for the Labour Party and a very, very humiliating end in public life to Keir Starmer.
He can control the timetable, though, can't he? He's still got the Labour Party National Executive. And yesterday, I think there was allies of Mr. Burnham were talking about hurdles being put in his way.
Oh, they're not saying anything new or interesting, are they? I tell you what, though, right? Labour winning this, and I'm assuming that Labour have won this, and the Conservatives winning in Scotland, although the SNP did win there was another by-election in Scotland. In fact, let me tell you which one it was. I find it. So, Labour, the Conservatives won Aberdeen South, but the SNP won Arbroath and Borty Ferry, which I didn't even know that was going on. So, like the old parties are winning their seats still. So Reform didn't win any of those. Labour and the Conservatives still hanging on, even though nationwide nobody wants them.
For Keir Starmer, he is not going to win a leadership election. It is over.
Any chance of Sir Keir staying on as Foreign Secretary?
No, is the short answer, John. And if you ask Louise Haig or anyone here, I think I'll tell you the same thing.
So he's finished, and Mr. Burnham, well, he probably walk across the Thames to take the Labour crown. You think it's you seem to think it's absolutely inevitable. There's no other outcome.
I mean, that is what's. Andy Burnham will be Prime Minister. Don't ask me the date, but by the end of this calendar year, Andy Burnham will be Prime Minister.
Do you think he'll be good at it? I mean, there's all these problems mounting up, aren't there? We've just seen the Tories win an
No, he won't be good
Aberdeen,
at it.
because voters don't like Labour's energy policy. There's all sorts of other problems piling up. Defence spending, all the other issues. How do you think Mr. Burnham is going to tackle those?
Well, that is the question. Now, you've asked a very good question, John, an imponderable, an unanswerable question. Look, he has proven that you can still unite a coalition of voters around the Labour Party. He will never be as popular and strong as he is now. And he will need to tackle those difficult questions and get used to a level of scrutiny and bluntly.
Super Chats, Makerfield waiting for the 4 a.m. ballot dump. Well, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Clip on a reply to the 40 politics post. Let me find it.
Andy Burnham can negotiate them with a smile and a flutter of the eyelashes and a woolly back accent, but with more political nous, that's the big question.
Who's your money on for Chancellor of the Exchequer, Home Secretary, the big jobs?
That's a very good question. I think Shabana Mahmood wants to stay at the Home Office. I suspect the Chancellor, if it's not Ed Miliband, will be... who knows? But
it's going to be literally... Burnham will just become a Starmerite.
Ed Miliband, I suspect it'll be someone like Yvette Cooper.
I see. So who becomes Foreign Secretary then?
Who becomes Foreign Secretary? Oh, John, you're really keeping me on my toes. Certainly not Keir Starmer, Dan Jarvis, Ed Miliband. The possibilities are endless.
OK. I'm going to have to leave it there because we think Mr. Burnham's about to arrive. Back to you, Anna.
To doorstep him. John Craig, thank you very much indeed. So Andy Burnham walking into the Makerfield by-election count here in Wigan alongside Louise Haig, who I was just been speaking to. We heard Patrick Maguire there talking about the timing, how long they will give Keir Starmer. Well, certainly Louise Haig said to me that there are summits coming up which Keir Starmer would obviously want to think about. One is the EU-UK Reset Summit, that's the 22nd of July. The other one is the NATO Summit, the 7th, 8th of July. The indication, therefore, that I got...
The Tory victory in Scotland seems important if the Tories are actually winning seats because they're essentially Reform without Nigel. Yeah, it is. It's terrible for Nigel, frankly. this is, I mean, no matter what happens for the rest of them, this has been bad for Reform. Really bad, actually. Like, this has not been a good night at all.
Burnham has gone against the tide. Makerfield, of course, all of the wards here in the local elections back in May went strongly for reform. This is a man who knows the path is not just Makerfield. He knows the path is Downing Street. He's been wanting to challenge for some time. We know he was stopped from doing so in Gorton and Denton. He is welcoming people. He is a man on a mission. Sam Coates, let's bring you in, our deputy political editor. There is so much now to play for this man who's made it clear that the keys to number 10 is where he wants to go.
Yeah, and you can see Andy Burnham entering the hall with the key people now around him, faces that are going to become incredibly important. Louise Haigh, Annalise Midgley, you saw his own team who are there too. There he goes into the main counting hall where you can see people applauding him. This is a huge moment for Andy Burnham. For 16 years, he has been attempting to make it to the top of the Labour Party. In the next...
Burnham's lost every leadership challenge he ever made.
...forward in that ambition, because the man who is being applauded...
The 54% number comes from Labour sources, so who knows? I mean, I would be shocked if he got 54%. We are getting the vote count within the hour, so about half an hour at the most. And, you know, I'm not even, like... Andy Burnham did campaign hard. He campaigned really hard. And like I said, he was humble on the doorsteps. He was humble with people. And so I actually am not that surprised that he was the one man in Labour who had the charisma to go to the... I mean, remember, Makerfield has been voting Labour for something like 120 years. Like, this is a place that has always voted for Labour. And Andy Burnham has come in and his campaign was entirely focused on, look, I'm going to make the Labour Party for us. I mean, it was literally his campaign slogan. I'm going to turn it back into like the old Labour Party is the promise that he was making on the doorstep. And to a lot of people in Makerfield, I bet that really resonated because what they felt was nostalgia. We're going to go home. This is going to be back to how it was when I was a kid. And this is the safe thing for us to do. Because I think at the moment there are a lot of people who feel that things are a bit on the edge.
And certainly Andy Burnham is one step away from Downing Street. Sam?
Right, I think you now are going to see things move pretty fast over the next few days.
Hanging out with the
Once
monster
we have
raving
the
loonies.
result, then there will be a battle of interpretation. I think people around Andy Burnham are likely to say that the scale of the victory matters enormously because he...
Games lost. Yeah, Farage apparently left an hour ago. Didn't go near any of the media, nothing.
Been polling top. They have been winning by-elections. Nigel Farage has been on the march, something that has scared many in Andy Burnham and Keir Starmer's own party. But now, the argument of people around Andy Burnham has been that he is the only one that can halt that tide. And tonight is a moment, this morning, is a moment where he can prove that that is the case. Just 6 weeks ago in the local elections, every single...
There's no reason to think that it's rigged. No reason to think that it's rigged. It's entirely plausible that Andy Burnham wins on his own merits. Entirely plausible. There's a reason that he chose this constituency.
Of Makerfield and Andy Burnham elected as the MP. MP of a seat, it has to be said, Anna, that was part of his old Lee constituency before he stood down in 2017, so he can credibly claim to know this area. Andy Burnham there standing with Sally Jameson, who's an MP that he is who's a key part of the leadership and the by-election team, so very much surrounded.
If they always voted for Labour, why would the 15% who had not been voting suddenly decide to vote this time? Well, because it's Andy Burnham. It's entirely possible that Andy Burnham has the kind of effect that Restore has in other places on these old Labour voting constituencies. Entirely possible. Because again, like, there is a kind of sentimental attachment between the Labour Party and this constituency. Like, they view the Labour Party as kind of extension of themselves. This is why It's always been crazy that in the North, like they're wedded to the Labour Party. They have been for a long time. And Burnham is essentially playing the nostalgia game with these people. And it would not surprise me if a lot of them were like, oh, I could never vote for Starmer. But I will vote for Andy Burnham to get Starmer out. Like, a lot of them actually will want Burnham to crush Starmer because they hate Starmer. They fucking hate him because he's not a northerner and he's a fucking bureaucrat. So it doesn't surprise me, actually, that Andy Burnham could galvanise a strong will of feeling, especially as he seems like a nice guy. He comes across as a very friendly guy. He is personally popular in Manchester because he was the mayor. Mayors tend to be personally popular because they only have to do positive things. I'm opening a Sainsbury's. I'm building you a bridge. I'm setting up a bus route. They get to just do positive things because they're like civic leaders rather than political leaders in this sense. They don't have to be partisan about things. Whereas in Parliament, you've constantly got the ding-dong back and forth of partisan politics. The mayors don't have this. Boris had the same boon, frankly. He got to just be a positive figure in London. So you get to be these positive figures. But Andy Burnham himself is a nice guy, it seems, and people actually like him. And so I could believe he's got this kind of personal pull in Makerfield.
Burnham has mounted in Makerfield. But take Lisa Nandy, who you can see just in the bottom of your in your shot.
Someone chat, oh, you lost because of Pakistani voters? No, there aren't any Pakistani voters in Makerfield.
She say to Keir Starmer, if he asks, are you loyal? Will you be with me? She is clearly on the side of his nemesis, for that is what Andy Burnham is now, the nemesis of Keir Starmer. Does she then stay in the cabinet, or does Keir Starmer just make it too difficult for that to happen? Can Keir Starmer afford to lose Lisa Nandy, to lose Shabana Mahmood, the Home Secretary, who's another Andy Burnham supporter, to lose others like Ed Miliband, who is another Andy Burnham supporter, from his cabinet in order to begin a fight back, in order to try and save his premiership with the alleged hundreds of thousands that donors have apparently pledged. Keir Starmer would start from such a difficult position. That's why I think the key thing to, later this afternoon and over the weekend will be to watch Labour MPs quietly start to put pressure on Keir Starmer to go. Frankly, some will be doing so noisily because the man you can see with a smile on his face just to the right of your screen, Andy Burnham, is now poised to win this by-election and then from there head to Downing Street.
Give us the fucking results there.
Going, Sam, but let me now bring in Preet Kaur Gill, MP, Health Minister. I have you down as a Starmer loyalist. This must be, bittersweet for you. This what looks like a Burnham win.
Well, this is absolutely fantastic. We haven't seen the final result being announced as yet, but I'm delighted. I was in Makerfield today. The Prime Minister expected all of the cabinet backbenchers and ministers to go up. This is wonderful to see.
To be fair, this was a massive gamble for Burnham as well. Imagine if he'd lost. Imagine if he'd lost. Just oof. Fucking painful. More women talking on GB News. Let's see what BBC is saying.
Gets out of what he sees as his way and his path to number 10, which is very clearly from his camp what they hope to achieve. It is
nothing exciting. Any updates? No. Nothing. Oh, come on. Just give us the fucking count. Rupert Lowe thinks the result is somewhere in the region of 10%, which would be an unbelievable result for a party 4 months old. Lowe said it looked like Burnham's vote held up much better than I thought it would. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. It genuinely is. But I think it's explainable. Nandy dismisses claim Burnham only winning in Makerfield because Restore Britain split right-wing. I think there's a misunderstanding about Restore vote here. Heard a lot of talk about this is Rupert Lowe and his profile. I've heard from them, blah, blah, blah. Actually, they've always had a vote here. What? It's 4 months old. How could they always have a vote? it's not significant. It's usually around 6 or 7% of the vote. If there's an openly racist party on the ballot, we'll come out and vote for it. So you're saying that Reform are not an openly racist party? That's interesting. That's interesting. That Lisa Nandy would think that Reform is not a racist party. But obviously they don't want that to take away. And the thing is, right, if Reform get like 35% and we get like 10% and Burnham gets 54%, then we didn't split the vote. Burnham just won. Like that will be the answer. Like that will be the actual result. Burnham will have just won. And yes, I am tired and I want to go to bed, but god damn it, I want the results. Because I'm expecting Reform to underperform. And that's what I'm looking for. God, yeah, I can. Jesus, I am tired. Yeah, I am shattered. I'm not the sort of guy who stays up 3 in the morning anymore, lads and ladies. It's, I'm too old. I have to get up too early in the morning. Well, I've been up since 7 o'clock this morning. Oh. And I've already done like a 2.5 hour stream with Arch just before I came and started this one. Called Dan in to take over. Well, he's already in bed. No, I want the results. I want to know the results. It's not going to be long.
Why should workers who are here, who've been, and a lot of, most, people who work here are legally able to work, and why should they pay more than
bring me my slippers. I'm not listening to a woman waffle.
How many of you are there who will continue to back Keir Starmer? If it becomes a contest, 81 MPs obviously is what challengers need. Many people suggest, for example, West Streeting doesn't have it. How much support
look at them. All the libtards love this Count Binface guy.
Has got huge amounts of support in the Parliamentary Labour Party. As I say, we finally have a Labour.
I tell you what, Starmer must be shitting himself. Absolutely shitting himself. Like, for Starmer, this is not good. Not good at all.
Reform.
Yeah, 54%
through Alex Wilson.
54% sounds really unlikely.
Beaming smiles from Andy Burnham, not just because he's having a laugh with Count Binface. This looks like less than 2 years into you winning the general election that Keir Starmer is going to face a challenge from Andy Burnham to be forced from office as Prime Minister. How on earth, less than 2 years in, have you got yourselves into that situation?
Well, firstly, I'm delighted to see.
Oh, blah, blah, blah. We just want the fucking numbers. It's all expected soon. Yeah.
That actually benefit certain characters. Before we get into the Equality Act debates, which is a big one, we're going to turn to Aberdeen South and speak to Will Godley.
Don't underestimate the hatred that boomers have for Starmer. Yeah, they genuinely hate Starmer. And how ingrained Labour is as an identity for... It's not the middle class, the working class in the North. A lot of these people would have begun in quite humble places and are now sitting in nice £500,000 homes. And that's why Labour is the party of the rich now. Labour can offer you nothing. Nothing as a young person.
MP leader in Westminster who got a seat in the Scottish Parliament, and that's what triggered this by-election. And for the SNP, it's a big loss for them, but a huge win for the Conservative Party, who have been calling this throughout this campaign as a referendum on oil and gas. And Douglas, reacting to his victory, said this win sends a message, a clear message to the Labour Party, saying that they need to stop the destruction of North Sea oil now. And that's really what he's campaigned on, putting that first and reacting to this.
He's not going to walk away from the country. He takes his responsibility of service very, very seriously. So I'm not going to get into what comes next, actually. I'm focused on delivering in my brief for my constituents.
Oh, it's just Phillips.
If you're going to highlight a really, really important issue, get the facts right, because 28% spike in domestic abuse when we win. So them winning just means that 8% fewer percentage points of the spike of domestic abuse.
About
presumably
Sarah poaching.
Presumably men are getting tanked up, they're getting drunk, they're coming back either frustrated or indeed sort of like happy or whatever it happens to be, and men who do that are going to do it anyway.
Oh yeah, they were. Nobody has ever become a domestic abuser because England did or didn't win.
It's not like you get domestic abusers
Well, I mean, I know the numbers do kind of show that, but yeah, I actually kind of agree with her on it, to be honest.
Here,
Anyway.
they said no votes really for the Labour Party and Reform. Their vote, they say, has collapsed, and those voters who perhaps would have thought about voting for Reform and Labour instead chose to vote for the Conservative Party in a bid to try and oust the SNP. And of course, it's worked this evening. The SNP saying,
yeah, I know, Rams.
Oh,
Jesus
Christ! This seat back in 2029.
Horrible jump scare.
But of course, a big loss for them this evening, Tom. But of course,
I don't buy that these elections are rigged. I don't. I genuinely think it's the sort of thing that Burnham can win on his own merits, and Farage can lose on his own merits too.
He's going to be putting pressure on the government
to
back the North Sea oil for people of Aberdeen.
Looks like something's happening. Oh, look, they look like they've basically finished counting. It looks like they're about to announce.
South, the last in the room just before they turn off the lights. Thank you indeed for bringing us all of that. What a moment there. What an upset in Aberdeen South. But who better to speak to now that we're talking about the revitalisation of oil and gas and that industry off the North Sea, or indeed that's what the people of Aberdeen South seem to want in their numbers this evening. Let's speak to the chair of the London Green Party, Eugene Makerfield.
It's looking like the count's over, come on.
This Aberdeen South result, is the pushback.
I don't want Reform to lose just because I want Restore to win. I want Reth and everyone else to lose of the betrayals. Yeah, I know. I'm absolutely sick of it. But anyway, look at it looks like they're about to announce, which would be fucking thrilling, wouldn't it? BBC.
I absolutely hope so, because I do.
Do you think he will?
Do I think he will? I would say that it's going to be a tough few weeks, and I'm really honest about that. Because
it looks like the counting is basically
Lou Haig
over.
Today, we think that.
So, come on, give us the numbers so I can go to bed.
Money for the country, that is pouring money into the Treasury, working for a
they better not announce at
business
4
that is
a.m.
adding to
Better
this
fucking
country
not.
through the work that you do. Isn't there a difference there?
Yeah. Why would Starmer rig an election in favour to oust the person in favour of the person trying to oust him? Like, Starmer's done everything he can to stop Andy Burnham at this point. Man was arrested in Huntingdonshire for throwing a 3-year-old into a crocodile enclosure. Really, it was just a man. I heard it was a man from, was it Norfolk? Something like that. Police are requesting people avoid speculation. The man was not named. I think we all know. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we all know.
Delivered successful industrial policy.
GB News has got 1,700 people watching. How many have I got?
Which are much more market oriented.
6,600.
Same thing. These aren't pretend jobs.
Thank you all for helping me absolutely crush.
Economy. It has the right to intervene in the economy.
I really appreciate it.
I think that's completely reasonable. And
the reason I describe this as a pretend job is if you look specifically at Aberdeen, which might not be the most strategic place in the country to put a massive factory, but it certainly is the most strategic place in the country to have the heart of our oil and gas sector. If you deliberately shut down a sector that is productive and then try and replace those jobs with something that doesn't naturally want to go there.
So I've got Metro here. Andy Burnham allies. Centrist governments have run out of time. Well, I mean, not wrong. And I'm not even bothered if Labour pitch to the left. Things are shit. They're just going to get worse. No, I'm not even against them rubbing more leftism in everyone's face. Yeah, come on, dude, just see how bad it gets. See how fucking bad it gets. Nothing fucking interesting else.
They wanted to be in Birmingham because that's where the talent was. I mean, trying to force industry somewhere just because government wants to replace jobs that it has killed through its own policy choices, that's a dire strait.
I don't think that's the way it is. Like in places like Aberdeen, we have huge numbers of very skilled workers. We have historic industrial areas. That's a perfect opportunity for businesses to invest and the government to invest, because let's be clear, state investment is crucial to this country's future, particularly our industrial policy. So it's not at all like turning investment away from places like Birmingham. It's bringing in the next generation of investment to places like this. So we don't end up in a situation where, like in the 1980s, we had huge numbers of completely unproductive coal fields that were propped up and then abruptly shut down with, tremendously dire consequences for workers up and down the country.
Well, we've done the policy there. Let's shift on to the politics, because there is quite a bit of suspicion about what exactly has gone on in Makerfield. I mean, Greater Manchester is an area where there is a strong Green presence. I mean, thousands upon thousands of activists were bussed into the Gorton and Denton by-election just down the road, and it seems like the Green Party didn't even try in Makerfield. Could there have been some sort of secret agreement between the Greens and Andy Burnham in this by-election?
Oh, yeah, Lord no, Tom. I'm not a particular fan of Andy Burnham. I think throughout this campaign has really shown his true colours in a lot of ways, seeming to tack further right than the supposed right-wing candidate for the Labour leadership. That was definitely not going to happen, Wes Streeting, on a whole raft of issues. He's not particularly aligned with the Green Party. That being said, we've got three parties throwing the absolute kitchen sink at this by their own admission in the form of Labour, Reform and Restore. To be completely honest with you, by-elections are incredibly expensive to run. We have just fought incredibly hard and won a pretty stonking victory in Gorton and Denton. If Andy Burnham does win, we're going to have a Greater Manchester campaign to run. And of course, there are council by-elections and other campaigns across the country, which we need the money for. If you look on...
Give us the results!
MPs asked Keir Starmer and said to him it's time to give a timetable, time to make your way out. You suggested that you still supported him then, but you wanted him to change.
I did.
You think he has not changed. Do you now think it's time for him to go?
I'm not going to call a timetable, because I think that somebody who took the Labour Party from where we were in 2019, turned it around and made us electable, and has done stunningly great things on the world stage, has brought the Labour Party into government, has changed so much. I want him. Clearly, we suffered an absolute battering in many elections in May. We also actually made some gains and held some councils, but we really took a battering, and a lot of it was named about Keir. I obviously want there to be an orderly process if that's what happens next. I hope that everyone takes a breath and thinks about how best the Labour government can next proceed, because we need Labour government to carry on governing. That's my primary concern. I will serve whichever Labour government it is, but I want it to carry on governing and actually be able to concentrate on that.
Reform has had momentum, there's no doubt about it. Does that hold that momentum? Does it prove to Labour that they have a candidate that can take the fight to Reform on the doorsteps and they can beat you?
Well, I think, first of all, Reform has got amazing momentum and will continue to have incredible momentum. I saw that myself during this election campaign. But look, I think what is more of an interest for people following politics is how is it that His Majesty's loyal opposition has potentially failed to hold their deposit in this by-election. They are meant to oppose the government, and they've failed in that duty. And actually what I think is quite strange as well for your party is that the party leader didn't come to the constituency. You'd think they'd want to defend their great record in government, but actually, well, it hasn't been a 1 month summit. But what I think is very embarrassing for the Labour Party is Burnham didn't have almost any Labour logo on his. This was very much a.
I am absolutely losing the will to live. It is an interesting point though that Andy Burnham basically shed the Labour branding entirely, right? And it's just, he would say to people, I'm going to fix the Labour Party and bring it back to what it should be. But, he didn't have it on his branding, which is very interesting. Keir Starmer, of course, didn't go up and campaign. And it seems very much like a jihad from the sort of northern soft left against the technocratic London South. And it looks like the technocratic London South has obviously lost. But I think the northern soft left is a lot more retarded than the technocratic London South. I don't think they realise that, like, you know, oh, Andy Burnham did the bust. So yeah, Andy Burnham basically lives on state handouts from the technocratic South. Like, that's how he's made his name. And while they do seem like nicer people, like Lisa Nandy and Big Angela Rayner, they seem like nicer people personally than the sort of like the technocratic London South. But like, they're basically retarded, and they're not going to fix any of the problems, and everyone knows they're not going to fix any of the problems. So none of this is going to go away. It's not going to save the Labour Party, and it just shows the Labour Party is completely out of steam at this point. I honestly think we're currently in the last Labour government. Like, this 5-year period of time, this is the last. What would it take to have load seaters reported down there for the count? I don't think they let in any alternative media to the count, so I don't know. But we do. Bo and Thomas and Josh are in Makerfield, so doubtless they're recording interviews and things with people who are around. But unfortunately, we don't have any privileged access like they do.
We don't know yet how many results.
Yeah, they're well-meaning idiots. Yeah, that's genuine it. Like, do you think for a fucking second that Andy Burnham knows how the economy works? Like, what it means to actually grow an economy? Of course he doesn't, right? Does Lisa Nandy know what she's talking about when she comes to anything? No. Angela Rayner, obviously not. Like, this marriage between the technocratic South and the midwit North has been not very successful, and the technocratic South decided no, it was going to expel the midwit North because, for whatever reason, you know, like, Angela Rayner fucked up her taxes. Like, what do you mean she fucked up doesn't she have an accountant? Doesn't someone else do her taxes for her? Anyway, this split has been a long time coming, probably, because it's like Keir Starmer is pragmatic when it comes to protecting the system, and these people are a lot more sort of idealistic, and they don't realise that it's their idealism that has been driving the country into the fucking ground. These are the people, these are the idiots who truly believe the promises of Blairism. Now, you remember Tony Blair's 5,000-word essay, where he basically came out essentially on the same side as the Conservatives restore and reform. Like, basically, Tony Blair is a right-winger in this current paradigm. So he's like, no, don't worry about the net zero. Worry about cheap energy. Don't worry about taxes. Worry about growing businesses. Don't worry about fixing all the shit. Worry about making money. Worry about actually the things that happen. Worry about power. Worry about the state of the economy and the state of the military. And these morons, these well-meaning, idealistic fools, are the people who believe the inspirational rhetoric of Tony Blair and fail to understand what the actual realities of power and governance are. And so these, I swear to God, I'm not saying I'm looking forward to it, but like, I'm definitely interested to see how the Andy Burnham premiership, I suppose you call it, just collapses in on itself when he just continually fucks up. Like, again, Andy Burnham doesn't understand the role the bond market plays in the British state's ability to raise revenue. And it's just like, right, okay. I mean, it's already worse than it was with Liz Truss in charge, and that spike, it's way up. It's way up there. And so it's like, okay, these people are not competent, right? They aren't leaders. They aren't competent. It's just the technocratic South, the Londoners, technocratic Londoners, they had to essentially betray the narrative that put them in their place to do the right thing for the system. I mean, like, whether you like it or not. And so these people are not going to fix the problems. They're just going to exacerbate all the problems. Andy Burnham will try and do a bunch of things. He'll try and borrow a bunch of money. He'll make the economy way worse. By the way, things are going to get worse. Things always get worse, though. I mean, things are getting worse under Starmer. Like, every day things get worse. So they might get worse in a slightly different way, but things are going to get worse everywhere, all the time, forever. Rachel Reeves will continue to increase taxes. There will continue to be billions, Bamalians in the high streets. Things are always going to get worse. 3 a.m. Yeah, I know. It's got to be It's got to be an announcement. The result imminent. Oh, fucking please!
Cabinet coup against Sir Keir Starmer. So we are in for some days of real drama over the next few days. The Prime Minister, in his interview with Beth Rigby in Evian during the week at the summit, and here, in fact, here's the returning officer.
Please can the candidates and agents
Oh, thank God.
Side here so we can go through the adjudication of doubtful ballot papers. Thank you.
Something's happening.
We very much are in the final stages now. This is the bit I always call VAR when we get close to the result, and there's a few checks being made. So we're very close, and so I was talking about the challenges facing Mr. Burnham if and when he does become Prime Minister. There's no doubt he's won here. The question is by how much, how big a margin he's won by, how big his mandate is. If it's a pretty comfortable victory, his supporters obviously will claim that shows that he is the man capable of defeating reform. This was an area of the country where reform did really well in the May the 7th local elections. But after this, of course, all the speculation about Sir Keir's future really moves into overdrive. And the question is, when will Mr. Burnham make his move? The PM, what I was saying was, in his interview with Beth Rigby in Evian, the PM said he would speak to Mr. Burnham after the weekend. Well, they may have a phone call before then, during the weekend, but it'll be Monday when Mr. Burnham takes his seat in the House of Commons, and that'll be quite something. There'll be cheers on the Labour benches and no doubt jeers on the opposition benches. And of course, as we've heard, there's a couple of new Scottish MPs be taking their seats in Parliament on Monday as well.
Yes, absolutely. One SNP, one Tory, again there in Aberdeen South. But this is all about Makerfield now, as the VAR moment, as John put it, is underway. Let's just bring in Sam. Sam, what are we looking for in terms of numbers and scale of win?
Thankfully not, Stephen.
Well, all evening and in the early hours of this morning, people around Andy Burnham have been saying to me, look at the numbers. When they come, the numbers will make the case for Andy Burnham to be Prime Minister. Now, let me just tell you what to look out for. At the last general election, so that's when Josh Simon stood in this seat, he won 45% of the vote. Now, I think there is an expectation that Andy Burnham does quite well, hangs on to that.
Creative Wolf is dropping out just before they give the results.
In the local elections in Makerfield, Labour got just 27%. So I think what Andy Burnham's campaign will say, look, it's not about how many votes compared to 2024. It's about how many votes he's won compared to just a few weeks ago when Greta Manchester went to the polls and Labour got just 27%. Now, there were some Labour MPs this morning suggesting that, Andy Burnham's vote could tip the 50% of the mark on the scales, in which case they might be able to say the personal brand of Andy Burnham has really doubled the Labour vote. Now, I've been hearing about Labour activists campaigning in Makerfield, and the word Labour, Anna, doesn't get used. It's all Burnham, Burnham, Burnham. This is a by-election where Labour are fighting just under the brand of the person who's almost certain to be won and who you can see in the middle of your shot. So when we're listening for the votes, see how close or whether over Andy Burnham gets to that 50% mark. 45% was what they got at the last general election, but just a quarter of the votes in the local elections when brand Burnham wasn't evident at all. That is what to look for. In terms of reform, at the last general election, they got about 32% of the vote. But in the local elections, they got 50% of the vote in Makerfield. Reform UK did. So does Reform at this election get anything like
you,
that?
self-confessed
If, as we're
cynic.
expected, Reform UK lose, then clearly that percentage, that share, is going to go down. But the question is, down by how much? And how much
I don't think a recount
is
like it's genuinely not. I mean, you saw the cameras and stuff. It'll be cut and dried.
earlier. because there is just now evidence that that vote to the right of the Tories, and we really expect the Tories to do very badly in this election, possibly lose their deposit, but the vote on the right is further split, and we're seeing evidence of that in this by-election with Restore and Reform UK duking it out for the same kind of pool of voters. But if Andy Burnham's able to make the case that he took Labour's share of the vote from 27% in the local elections and bucked the national trend, where we still see opinion polling, YouGov opinion polling for Sky, for instance, putting Reform UK out in top, and he, when his name is attached, is on the ballot, he can overturn that deficit of Labour votes and propel the party to victory, that he is able to save the seats of Labour MPs all around the country. There are 404, 405 Labour MPs in Parliament at the moment, and so many of them think that they're facing ejection at the next election if the polls turn out to be as they are today. Andy Burnham could prove in the next few minutes that he has something, a sort of magical political elixir that allows him to really take on reform in a way that Keir Starmer has struggled initially by trying to challenge Reform UK on the kind of areas where they were campaigning, like migration.
It's interesting how no one interviewed Robert Kenyon, right? And I don't know where Rebecca Shepherd is either. Like this election isn't really about these candidates, and everyone can see it.
Can prove in the results that we're about to hear in the next few minutes.
Yeah, get on with it!
Has the ingredients to take on reform. Now, through this campaign, it's been fascinating listening to Andy Burnham. At one point, he basically said, he used the words that he thought reform were right. And he agreed with Nigel Farage on some elements of what's been happening with immigration and the housing of asylum seekers in some council areas against the will of local people. Andy Burnham, not afraid to suggest that
Violet coming out soon.
UK have got some things in politics right.
I
in Labour
promise.
circles, that's quite controversial. But I think just a sense that there is somebody at the top with the confidence of how to deal with the question of what we should do with reform will be almost enough for many Labour MPs who have felt slightly all at sea with this question of how to deal with Nigel Farage, and have felt that Downing Street, more importantly, has been all at sea. And the man in the middle of your screen, minutes away, we think, from returning to Parliament, having left Parliament.
Yeah, Luke, they do. They do. I mean, he's the last hope they've got. This is can the Northern retards save Labour, where the Southern inhuman technocrats have failed? And the answer is going to be no.
Yes, and then an incredibly rapid journey, we all believe, into the heart of Downing Street, as I think obstacles will fall away pretty quickly at that point for him to get in. As we were quoting Patrick Maguire of the Times saying that he thinks Keir Starmer's essentially over. That's not the line from Downing Street. They claim they've got money, supporters, and most importantly, the spirit in the fight. But the moment that we get the results, in just a few minutes' time, I suspect the whole vibe of politics, the whole nature of the conversation will change because of those numbers. They will point to the statistical advantage that Brand Burnham brings in the fight against reform. They will point to the fact that this man was standing in a seat where every single ward was won by reform just a few weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, when we had those local elections across the whole of this wider region. And because of that, he's shown that he can do something that other politicians in the Labour Party cannot, and as a result, that he should be installed in number 10. And installed, by the way, they don't want to have a fight. At this point, Andy Burnham wants to enter number 10 without there being a formal contest, without being a big scrap with Keir Starmer. They hope, their sincere hope is that in the next few days, the Prime Minister essentially gets the message from colleagues that his time is up. And they want to frame it as a choice for Keir Starmer. Does he go with dignity, elegantly,
no idea
or
why they're
is he
stalling,
dragged from office?
No idea why they're stalling. Like, just get the fuck on.
Want to present it like that, but there'll be no immediate challenge from the man in the middle of your screen. There will be no formal declaration of entering a contest. He wants Keir Starmer to come to the conclusion. I think the big moment for me is Tuesday when Keir Starmer has to have round his cabinet table all sorts of people that we know back Andy Burnham and want Andy Burnham to be Prime Minister. Are they all still there by Tuesday, sitting around backing the collective agreement that Keir Starmer should be the United Kingdom's Prime Minister? You know, Tuesday and the decision point that I think that cabinet ministers have feels a long way away tonight. But I think that's another reason why I think things could move pretty quickly. But I think there you have...
We do not know how many dead people voted for Burnham. Imminent must mean something else in Britain. I always thought it meant it's about to happen.
Since 2010, to be the Labour leader.
Oh.
It is 3 o'clock. You are watching the face of... 3 o'clock, yes. You're watching the face of Andy Burnham in Wigan. He is waiting for the Makerfield by-election result to be announced. They are checking the ballots right now. The occasional big smile from him, a gesticulation towards, I presume, a staff member about whether they could take a photo, maybe of his big moment coming up. It has been an extraordinary evening. 3 by-elections across the country, one again for the Conservatives in Scotland, in Aberdeen South, the SNP holding another at Arbroath and Broughty Ferry. This is the final one we are waiting for. Makerfield, the focus on this, because this might change the leadership of this country. The size of Andy Burnham's win might put more pressure on Keir Starmer, already under pressure because of the May elections when more than 100 MPs said it was time for him.
It says, I'll refresh it.
I remember being at one by-election, I think it was the Liberal Democrats wanted to save their deposit and demanded a recount, and the returning officer said, no, absolutely not, because it got very late. I think there will be quite a few lost deposits tonight, actually, because it really has been a 2-horse race between Mr Burnham and his Reform UK challenger, Rob Kenyon.
This seems to be at the furthest point.
We are expecting. I mean, the smiles on the faces of Mr Burnham and particularly Lisa Nandy, his close ally, and his now neighbouring MP. She's Wigan. He's about to be the MP for Makerfield. Show you that they're very pleased with the result. It's not just a win. It looks as though it's a pretty decent win as well. As ever, just when you think the result's coming, there's a hold-up. It's probably somebody challenging.
Likely to be intentions
I don't know,
there.
challenging.
But I would absolutely like him. I haven't got the figure.
I don't think I have.
218, down from 400. So I brought it down from 400 at its peak to 218. You knocked another 18 off. That's how
and we will
got
close
to...
all hotels by the end of this Parliament.
No, you won't.
The 400 you open.
You don't do shit.
We have had comedy candidates standing in by-elections in particular, but also in seats of political leaders and
I haven't changed the time. It's exactly the same.
Anything over 40 for a by-election is quite respectable. I mean, many by-elections, the turnout's only around about 30%, and in some cases lower than 30%. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the turnout in Arbroath and Broughty Ferry was quite low. But here it's been high. I mean, it's been such a... I mean, this has been the most high-profile by-election I think any of us can recall. And there's never been a by-election before where within days of the result, a sitting Prime Minister looks like being turfed out or at least challenged, which is what's going to happen here. With Mr Burnham, of course, he's been planning for this. Sam was saying he's been working towards this since 2010. In 2010, he stood for the first time. That was when...
Literally no reason to think it's rigged. But finally, some people are going on the fucking stage. Holy shit, chat. This is it. The most exciting part of my fucking day. But yes, thank you. I do appreciate view-mogging the media.
So the candidates then assembling on the platform, as you can see, awaiting.
Yeah, and in comes Jeb Bush.
A very consequential by-election.
Are you guys
here in
not familiar with
Makerfield.
Camp Binfield?
Huge smiles there for Andy Burnham. He has already been congratulated by
he's way past
the
my
other candidates and finds himself in between a fox and Count Binface, would you believe? We'll see, what that says for the future. But let's listen then to the returning officer and get the results.
Before I declare the result, it is really, really important that I say a massive thank you. Thank you to all of you for your patience this evening, and a massive thank you to our elections team, to all of the counting staff, to the staff from across Wigan Council, to Greater Manchester Police, to all our partners and to all of the staff at the Edge. You've been absolutely fantastic and you've done an amazing job. So thank you so much. Declaration of a result of the poll. Election of a Member of Parliament for Makerfield constituency on Thursday, the 18th of June. I, Alison Mackenzie Folan, being the acting returning officer at the above election, do hereby give notice that the number of votes recorded for each candidate at the said election is as follows. Austin Jake, Liberal Democrats, 163. Harvey Jonathan David, commonly known as Count Binface, the Count Binface Party, 95. Burnham Andrew Murray, commonly known as Andy Burnham, the Labour and Cooperative Party, 24,927.
Yes, 54%. Fucking hell. That is a shockingly good turnout for Burnham.
Daniel David, commonly known as Dan Clark, the Libertarian Party, 18. Dyer John Alfred, Independent, 37. Gemmell Edmund John, commonly known as Ed Gemmell, the Climate Party, 18.
Yes, yes.
Gould Paul Richard, Independents, 8. Hope Allen, commonly known as Howling Lord Hope, the official Monster Raving Loony Party, 45. Kenyon Robert, commonly known as Rob Kenyon, Reform UK, 15,696. Pownall Robert Neal, Independent, 18. Shepherd Rebecca Lee, Restore Britain, 3,111. Wakefield Sarah Elizabeth, the Green Party, 308. Ward Peter Mark, Rejoin EU, Bring in PR, 35. Winstanley Michael William, the Conservative Party candidate, 997. The number of ballot papers rejected was as follows. Want of official mark, 0. Voting for more candidates than the voter was entitled to, 9. Writing or mark by which voter could be identified, 0. Being unmarked or wholly void for uncertainty, 39. Taking the total number of ballot papers rejected at 48. The electorate was 77,462. The ballot papers issued were 45,510, and the turnout was 58.75%.
Okay, that is interesting, right? So, turnout up was for Andy Burnham. Reform got about 34%. We got about 7%. So we performed basically in line with the polling. Reform underperformed, but Andy Burnham massively overperformed. Massively. Holy shit. 25,000 for Burnham. That is like, the polls did not suggest that. And Like I said, you know, he earned it. He worked for it, and it's his constituency. But no, we did fine. 7% is what we were expecting, and it's a 4-month-old party. There's nothing wrong with that result. If we'd got like 3 or 4% or something like that, that would have been fucking terrible. But no, 7% is fine. 7% is fine. 34% for Reform, though, that's the painful one. Like, you should have been winning this. And, yeah, there we go. But right, thank fuck. Well, I mean, you know, it would have been good if we'd outperformed, but performing as expected, whatever. What can you do about it? But, right, I finally can go to bed. We will do a breakdown of this on Monday, I am sure, and I'll be having a political chat with Dan. So, thank you, everyone, for joining me. Oh God, I can't wait to go to bed. Right, see you all tomorrow. Take care, guys.